Chapter 343. In the Nine Nether Space. There were a total of 9 royal spiritual beasts. They were the 9 abyss earthly tiger, abyss scorpion, azure lion, blood-eyed demonic ape, Tian-shan bull, bloodthirsty human-faced spider, metal devourer flying ant, hellhound, and reaper mantis. The 9 royal families fought openly and covertly to destroy each other and dominate the Nine Nether Space. However, there was no clear winner after so many years. Among the 9 great royal families, the 9 Abyss Netherworld Tiger clan was publicly acknowledged as the #1 royal family. Their strength and foundation were extremely powerful, especially the current clan leader who was even more powerful. Left with no other choice, the 8 great royal families could only join forces to eliminate the 9 Abyss Netherworld Tiger clan. Tens of thousands of 9 Abyss earthly tigers were slaughtered. In the end, Longming's parents used their powerful strength to forcefully open the space and let Longming and a servant out. However, they were chased by the spiritual beasts and were rescued by Longao in the end. This was the cause and effect. Longao entered the Nine Nether Space and was careful all the way. He was very alert, afraid of encountering the spiritual beasts of the 8 royal families. However, what he feared would happen. At dusk the next day, Longao was besieged by a group of spirit beasts. Among them, the spirit beasts of the 4 royal families each had 10 spirit beasts. 40 venerable spirit beasts were staring at Longao covetously. If they were not afraid of the powerful aura emitted from Longao's body, the 4 royal families would have started to attack long ago. Looking coldly at the spiritual beasts around him, Longao knew very well that if he was trapped there, the consequences would be unimaginable once the reinforcements of the 4 royal families arrived. Because of this, Longao did not continue to hesitate and chose to strike first. Although the 40 venerable spiritual beasts were powerful, Longao's strength was not what it used to be. He could kill a middle-level earthly venerable in a second. Longao did not use his blood-sucking wild saber. He began to smash his fists fiercely. All the strength in his body was poured into his arms. The power of the divine dragon arm and the hell tiger arm was not something that a venerable one-spirit beast could contend against. The gap between the two was too big. It was a massacre without any suspense. Longao did not even need to use any treasures or martial techniques. Just relying on the power of his arms, he killed all 40 venerable spiritual beasts in a few minutes. His heart was simply excited to the extreme. Longao didn't give up on any of the corpses or souls, because once these corpses and souls were refined into corpse demons, they would come in handy. Whether it was the clan or the dragon sect, it was the time when they needed corpse slaves. 40 venerable one-corpse slaves were not a small number. The Nine Nether Space itself was a paradise for spirit beasts. The spirit beasts here were incomparably powerful. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Longao had already decided that no matter what, he would kill as many spirit beasts as possible and refine them into corpse slaves. After successfully killing 40 spirit beasts, Longao didn't dare to stay any longer, because he didn't know the strength of the reinforcements sent by the 4 royal families. If they were supreme masters or earthly venerables, he could deal with them. He could even fight against celestial venerables, but what about grand venerables? Although Longao was very confident in his strength, he knew that he was no match for martial artists above grand venerables of the Void 8 realms. There was no doubt about that. According to Longao's instructions, Longao went all the way south. However, the only thing that made Longao feel helpless was that if he wanted to reach the Nine Netherworld Tiger clan, he had to pass by a royal family in all directions. For example, if he wanted to go south, he had to pass by the mountain-splitting bull clan. If he wanted to go west, he had to pass by the Hell Dog clan. Longao was completely helpless. In other words, no matter where he went, he would have to face the spirit beasts of the 8 royal families. It would be fine if he was outside, but the Nine Nether Space itself only had spirit beasts. If a human entered the Nine Nether Space, no matter who he was, he believed that no matter which royal family he was, they would deal with him. Longao knew that it would be a little difficult for him to take Longming into the territory of the Nine Netherworld Tiger clan. The 8 royal families of the Nine Nether, the Abyss Scorpion, the Blue Clear Lion, the Blood-Eyed Ape, the Mountain-Splitting Bull, the bloodthirsty human-faced arachnid, the metal-devouring flying ant, the Hell Dog clan, and the Reaper Mantis. In the four directions of north, south, east, and west, Longao finally chose to continue south, and the place he must pass was the Reaper Mantis clan. According to the records of Long Ming's inheritance, Longao had a rough understanding of the nine nether space. There were a total of 9 plates, and the 8 royal families each occupied one. The plate of the Reaper Mantis clan was extremely huge, and there were ugly black mantises everywhere. The worst mantis was more than a meter long, and they were densely packed. Not to mention getting close, just looking at them made one's scalp tingle. Longao hid halfway up the mountain, looking at the densely packed black mantises below with a gloomy face. Did he have to force his way in? Longao knew that with his strength, it was not difficult to force his way in. Once he alerted the super powerhouses of the Reaper Mantis clan, he would be in big trouble. Woo 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 woo. Long Ming, I know you are anxious, but we must ensure our safety. Longao was also a little anxious because since entering the nine nether space, he had heard someone calling him. There was no doubt that it was his parents, the clan leader, and his wife of the nine netherworld tiger clan. Clenching his fists tightly, Longao snorted and said, "Anyway, I have already come to this point. I don't believe that I can't break through." Longao didn't want to let Long Ming wait. After all, his parents were killed and his clan was destroyed. He believed that Long Ming couldn't wait to rush to his clan immediately. In this way, Longao finally chose to stake it all on one throw. There were Reaper Mantises everywhere in the Reaper domain, but their strength was on the low side. After all, the powerful Reaper Mantis would not appear here at all. At this moment, someone roared, and then all the Reaper Mantises roared. Human? A human actually appeared in the nine nether space? All the Reaper Mantises stared at Longao as if they had seen a monster. This was like a duck suddenly running out of a group of chickens. How much shock would this cause to the chickens? Longao didn't hesitate at all. He held the blood-sucking broadsword in his hand and directly swept around wildly. Slash after slash, no Reaper Mantis could escape from the blade. In just a few seconds, Longao beheaded hundreds of Reaper Mantises. The ground was full of corpses, blood flowed like a river, and corpses were everywhere. Seeing this situation, all the Reaper Mantises around were dumbfounded. They were all stunned and didn't know what had happened. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Longao directly killed a bloody path and left at the fastest speed. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. As soon as Longao disappeared, the clan leader of the Reaper Mantis clan suddenly appeared. The huge mantis figure looked at the corpses on the ground with a gloomy face. Without the slightest hesitation, the Reaper Mantis clan leader quickly chased after them. Chapter 344. The Reaper Mantis clan was one of the 8 royal clans. The Reaper Mantis clan patriarch flew through the air and chased after him. The distance between the two was constantly being pulled closer. At this time, a powerful force suddenly erupted from the Reaper Mantis clan patriarch's body, directly suppressing the world. Longao, who was running with all his strength, suddenly felt his body being pressed down by a mountain. His entire body sank down, startling him. Longao certainly knew what this strength meant. World King. He cursed in his heart, "Damn it, it's actually a World King." Longao never imagined that the Reaper Mantis clan patriarch would actually be a World King powerhouse. At the 8th level of the void, the World Emperor was a peak existence, a World King. When one's cultivation broke through to the World King realm, the spiritual essence in their body would fuse with their body, forming a brand new power. This power was called a domain. Within their own domain, a World King was invincible. It could be said that once a Venerable, Supreme, Earth Venerable, Empyrean, and Great Venerable encountered a World King Master, especially one trapped in a domain, it was nearly impossible to escape. If an ordinary Earth Venerable encountered a domain released by a World King Master, only death would await them. But Longao's situation was completely different. With the strength of an Earth Venerable, he had already condensed the aura of the world. Longao was shocked and didn't dare to be careless. He directly released the terrifying aura of the world. Domain. The unique power of a world king's domain could completely control any earth venerable, but it couldn't control the aura of the world. It could be said that the aura of the world and the power of a domain were not on the same level. The two could not be compared. One was the sky and the other was the earth. With Longao's current strength, the aura of the world he released was unable to swallow the power of a domain. But if the Reaper Mantis clan patriarch wanted to use the power of a domain to trap Longao, it wouldn't be an easy matter. Aura of the world. Feeling the powerful aura released by the other party and the fact that his domain couldn't trap the other party, the Reaper Mantis clan patriarch was completely frightened. He stared at the other party in a daze. His face was full of doubts, not knowing what was going on. Under normal circumstances, warriors who could condense the aura of heaven and earth were all super powerhouses. However, if the other party was a super powerhouse, why would he run? It was precisely because of this that the Reaper Mantis was a little confused. She did not know what was going on with this person. Nirvana rebirth? Impossible. If this person is truly reborn, he shouldn't be running. Standing there in a daze, the Reaper Mantis patriarch still couldn't figure it out. However, things had already come to this point. In addition to this special situation, the Reaper Mantis still resolutely chased after him. Longao let out a long sigh of relief. He felt as if he had just escaped death. Longao knew very well that if it weren't for the chi of heaven and earth, he would have been trapped by the other party's domain power. It would have been almost impossible for him to escape then. A world king's strength was simply too terrifying. Damn, it's happening again. Feeling the powerful aura behind him, Longao was startled. He didn't need to look back at all. Longao had already guessed who was chasing after him. The Reaper Mantis patriarch was still releasing the domain power. He wanted to test the other party's chi of heaven and earth to see if the other party was really reborn. But at this time, Longao, who was running all the way, suddenly turned around and slashed out with his saber. The shocking saber light came with the momentum like a meteor. He was startled. The Reaper Mantis patriarch never thought that the other party would suddenly attack. Even if he was a world king, if he stood still and was hit, there would only be one result. He would die without a burial place. However, a world king was a world king. The Reaper Mantis patriarch dodged in time, but he still couldn't dodge the attack with his entire body. In any case, the Reaper Mantis's body was too big to dodge. Gotcha! His left shoulder was fiercely slashed by the saber light. The Reaper Mantis patriarch grimaced in pain. His face was furious. As the patriarch of the Reaper Mantis clan and a world king powerhouse, when had he ever been treated like this? If this matter were to spread out, where would his face go? Where would the Reaper Mantis clan's face go? Shameless human. You are courting death. In anger, the Reaper Mantis patriarch didn't continue to be afraid. He didn't care whether the other party was a super powerhouse or not. Anyway, he only had one purpose, and that was to kill the other party. Idiot. Since the saber didn't succeed in killing the Reaper Mantis, Longao didn't dare to stay any longer. He sped up his pace and shot forward. His speed was as fast as a gust of wind, moving with the wind. Under normal circumstances, the difference between the two was so great that their speed couldn't be compared at all. But what was the result? At this time, Longao knew very well that if this continued, he would only be caught by the Reaper Mantis. With no other choice, he directly summoned the Long Chong. A huge black body appeared in midair. Giant dragon? Looking at the giant dragon that suddenly appeared in front of him, the Reaper Mantis stopped abruptly. His face was full of shock because the Dragon Clan was an extremely powerful existence no matter where it was. However, in the 9 secluded space, a giant dragon had never appeared at all. The Reaper Mantis patriarch really couldn't figure out why a human and a black giant dragon suddenly appeared in the 9 secluded space. Could this person be related to the Dragon Clan? The 8 great royal clans didn't dare to compete with the Dragon Clan at all. If the Dragon Clan came looking for trouble, how could the 9 secluded space resist? The Reaper Mantis looked coldly at the human and dragon who were gradually disappearing, and suddenly said to himself, if I can successfully seize the soul, I can become a giant dragon. Success or failure depends on this. Ha 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 ha. The Reaper Mantis Patriarch had decided to kill the black giant dragon and seize the soul to be reborn. Then, he could become a giant dragon. In any case, the giant dragon and the Reaper Mantis were different existences. The two were not on the same level at all. Thinking of this, the Reaper Mantis Patriarch moved faster, but at this time, the figures of Longao and Long Chong had disappeared without a trace. No matter where you go, I will find you. Longao and Long Chong had already run far away. When Longao didn't feel the aura of the domain, he was really relieved. Woo 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 woo. Hearing the message from Long Ming, Longao was overjoyed because unknowingly, they had already arrived at the territory of the 9 secluded Netherworld Tiger. Long Ming, where is the base camp of the 9 secluded Netherworld Tiger clan? At this time, Long Ming's figure had already appeared and pointed to the front left. Then, Long Ming had already rushed out. Longao certainly knew that Long Ming couldn't wait. While following closely, he always paid attention to the surroundings to see if the Reaper Mantis was chasing after them. Chapter 345. The 9 Nether Earthly Tiger was the leader of the 9 royal families in the 9 Nether dimension. Their strength and foundation were extremely powerful. However, a few years ago, the 8 royal families joined forces to besiege the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan. Under the situation of 1 against 8, the clan leader of the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan could not hold on and was slaughtered. Only Long Ming was left. Long Ming was a little sad to return to his homeland. Ordinary people would not be able to enter the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan. However, Long Ming was different because the blood of the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger Emperor flowed in his body. Only blood could open the door. Rumble, rumble. After the huge stone wall merged with Long Ming's blood, the entire stone wall began to make loud noises. The man and the tiger took 2 steps back. At this moment, a stone door suddenly appeared on the stone wall. Overjoyed, Longao and Long Ming quickly entered the stone door. The stone door closed again. It was a simple black passage. It was serene and quiet, giving people a creepy feeling. Long Ming whimpered and rushed out with all his might. He was very fast and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Longao shrugged helplessly and did not stop him. He knew that no one in the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan would hurt Long Ming. Since he was already here, he might as well let Long Ming vent his anger. In the huge space, one cave after another, all of them were interlocked with each other. The entire space was huge. Was this the so-called base camp of the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan? Woo 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 woo. Hearing that Long Ming was calling for him, Longao put away his curiosity and walked up quickly. Then, the man and the tiger walked into the largest cave. After walking for a long time, the man and the tiger came to a huge cave. As soon as they entered, Long Ming started to cry. It turned out that there were 2 huge black tiger corpses at the top of the cave. Without a doubt, Longao had guessed that the 2 corpses opposite him were Long Ming's parents, the clan leader and his wife of the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan. For a full 2 hours, Longao stood quietly and did not go up to disturb Long Ming. All right, hurry up and accept the inheritance. I don't know why, but I keep having a bad feeling. Although this was the base camp of the 9 Abyss Earthly Tiger, the 9 Abyss Earthly Tiger had been annihilated. The overlords of this place were the 8 great sovereign families. If the 8 great sovereign families were to appear, things would be troublesome. After a moment of sadness, Long Ming nodded. Of course, he knew what Longao meant. Without any hesitation, Long Ming began to pass on the inheritance, and the power of the inheritance came from the 2 corpses. However, Long Ming was no fool. Naturally, he knew that the supreme treasure of the 9 Abyss Earth Tiger clan was even more important than the inheritance of power. Thus, before passing down the inheritance, he first stored his father's treasure into his body. Only then would he officially begin the inheritance. That bastard really appeared. We were still a step too late. It's not too late. As long as we kill him, the power inheritance and the treasures of the 9 Abyss Earthly Tiger clan will all belong to us. Ha ha ha. The Abyssal Demon Scorpion, Blue Wild Lion, Blood-Eye Demon Ape, Celestial Mountain Wild Bull, Bloodthirsty Human-Faced Arachnid, Metal-Devouring Flying Ant, Hell Demon Hound, Reaper Mantis, and the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs had all arrived. Without a doubt, the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs were all World King Masters. Of the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs, the Reaper Mantis glared at Longao. She didn't tell the other patriarchs that Longao was able to release the aura of the world. However, the Reaper Mantis very much wanted to obtain the great dragon's body. The Reaper Mantis wasn't an idiot. If she could condense the aura of the world and also become a great dragon, then her strength would increase by 3 times. Just what sort of concept was this? Longao's complexion was gloomy to the extreme. This was truly what he feared the most. With the patriarchs of the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs gathered here, they represented the 8 great world king masters. Let alone the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs joining forces, even if he fought alone, he still wouldn't be their match. What should he do? Thinking about it, Longao's complexion became increasingly gloomy. This was because at this time, the power of the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs' domains had already completely covered him and Long Ming. Longao could imagine that once he and Long Ming moved, they would definitely be attacked by the 8 great world kings. Bastard, hand over the treasures and the power of the inheritance, and we can let you live. Otherwise, you will die without a grave. The confidence that the 8 great royal family patriarchs exuded caused them to be extremely arrogant. However, the 8 great royal family patriarchs did indeed have the qualifications to be arrogant. Just based on the strength of the 8 great void world king experts, even in the Sky Martial continent, they were first-rate super-existences. Long Ming simply ignored the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs. Longao stood in front of Long Ming. If the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs attacked, he would risk his life to protect Long Ming. Longao was very clear that once Long Ming's inheritance was severed, the power of the 9 Netherworld Tiger clan and his father's legend would be completely severed. It would be impossible for him to obtain the inheritance again in the future. It was precisely because of this that Longao had decided that no matter what happened, even if he died, he would protect Long Ming and ensure that Long Ming's inheritance would succeed. He absolutely could not lose this opportunity. Seeing Long Ming ignore the 8 great sovereigns, the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs' expressions turned cold. The Abyssal Devil Scorpion Tribe Patriarch, the Jade Clear Wild Lion Tribe Patriarch, the Blood-Eyed Devil Ape Tribe Patriarch, the Heavenly Mountain Mantis Tribe Patriarch, the Bloodthirsty Human Face Spider Tribe Patriarch, the Metal-Devouring Flying Ant Tribe Patriarch, the Hell Devil Dog Tribe Patriarch, and the Reaper Mantis Tribe Patriarch. The 8 great sovereign family patriarchs looked at each other. Their meaning was very simple. Who would make the first move? In truth, the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs all had their own thoughts. They all wanted to make a move, but they were also afraid. After all, whoever made the first move would be surrounded by the other 7 patriarchs. But if they gave the inheritance to someone else, wouldn't they have missed this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? It was precisely because of this that the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs did not act rashly. They just looked at each other. Seeing this situation, Longao certainly knew what had happened. He was overjoyed. If the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs could fight to the death, then he would not need to take the risk at all. He could just sit back and reap the benefits. However, Longao did not think that things would be so optimistic. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs attacked at the same time, would he and Long Ming be able to resist? Longao was waiting, but the 8 great sovereign family patriarchs looked at each other, waiting for a decision. At this time, the Reaper Mantis suddenly said, "I'll withdraw, but you have to leave this human to me. I have some grudges with him that must be resolved." The news of Longao slaughtering the Reaper Mantis clan had already spread throughout the 9 Netherworld space. The grudges between them and the Reaper Mantis clan patriarchs' initiative to withdraw made the other 7 patriarchs overjoyed. How could they refuse? Therefore, the 7 patriarchs all nodded in agreement. Chapter 346. Shameless. As Longao cursed in his heart, he didn't care about himself. Instead, he stubbornly guarded Long Ming. "Shameless human, you really don't know the difference between life and death, Do you really think you can resist us? The 8 patriarchs' faces were filled with contempt and ridicule. This was because they could clearly sense Longao's strength. A mere earthly venerable was still a long way from reaching the World King realm, let alone the 8 patriarchs attacking together. Even if they fought one-on-one, Longao had no chance of winning. Whoever dares to take a step forward will be killed without mercy. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Hearing Longao's bold words, the 8 patriarchs crazily laughed, as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. Suddenly, the Hell Dog patriarch took a step forward and taunted, "I've already taken a step forward. What can you do to me?" Without saying any more nonsense, a terrifying aura of heaven and earth suddenly erupted from Longao's body. Then, Longao merged the aura of heaven and earth into the wild devouring blade and ruthlessly slashed out. This heaven-shaking saber strike contained the world aura. This saber strike could startle the heavens and make ghosts and gods weep. The Hell Dog was frightened. Let alone him, even the other patriarchs were frightened. This was because none of them believed that this human would dare to take the initiative to attack. It had to be known that the 8 patriarchs were all World King martial artists. As for this human, he was only an earthly venerable. The disparity between them was too great. They weren't even on the same level. The Hell Dog didn't think that Longao's saber strike would contain such a terrifying world aura. World aura? Feeling the powerful aura emanating from Longao's body, besides the Reaper Mantis, the other 7 patriarchs were all shocked, their faces filled with horror. This was because none of them thought that a mere earthly venerable human would release such a legendary world aura. It was because of this that the Hell Dog was frightened. He couldn't dodge in time and was struck by the saber light. If it weren't for the power of his domain, this saber strike alone would have been enough to obliterate the Hell Dog. With its right leg almost cut off, the infernal demon hound was enraged and immediately released its domain power. However, Longao, who possessed the chi of heaven and earth, could ignore the power of domains. If this matter were to spread out, no one would believe it. The reason why a World King was so powerful was because the spiritual source energy within their body had transformed into the power of their domain. It was rumored that within their own domain, a World King was the absolute overlord. However, there were exceptions to everything. For example, Longao had condensed the aura of heaven and earth at the earthly venerable rank. As the aura of heaven and earth that was above the power of domains, it was obvious that the aura of heaven and earth could ignore the power of domains. The aura of heaven and earth. Could it be that you are a reincarnation? Reincarnation? Longao didn't know what the reincarnated body was, but he definitely wouldn't tell the 8 patriarchs how he obtained the chi of heaven and earth. As the saying goes, the more mysterious something was, the more they feared it. Although he didn't know what kind of realm the chi of heaven and earth was condensed from, Longao knew very well that a warrior who could condense the chi of heaven and earth was extremely powerful. Just as Longao had guessed, the chi of heaven and earth was too powerful. The 8 patriarchs didn't know his situation at all, so they were momentarily stunned. "Human, who are you? Who I am is none of your business." Looking coldly at the 8 patriarchs in front of him, Longao suddenly sneered and said, "Since you have already guessed it, I won't hide it from you. I am indeed a reincarnated body. If we fight, it's more than enough for both sides to suffer." Without waiting for the 8 patriarchs to say anything, Longao continued, "You can choose not to believe me, but we can try. If you lose, we'll destroy each other. If I lose, we'll destroy each other. How about that? Destroy each other? Destroy each other? Weren't the two situations the same?" The more confident Longao was, the more the 8 patriarchs didn't dare to act rashly. Because the chi of heaven and earth released by Longao just now had indeed deeply shocked them. If the other party was really a reincarnated body and chose to self-destruct or destroy each other, it would be troublesome. Abyssal Demon Scorpion Patriarch, Blue Clear Wild Lion Patriarch, Blood-Eyed Demonic Ape Patriarch, Sky Mountain Wild Bull Patriarch, Bloodthirsty Human Face Spider Patriarch, Metal-Devouring Flying Ant Patriarch, Hell Demon Hound Patriarch, and Reaper Mantis Patriarch. The 8 patriarchs looked at each other, and began to discuss how to deal with this matter in their minds. After an unknown amount of time, the abyssal demon scorpion patriarch suddenly said, "Human, you can leave. We can write off what happened before, but you must leave now. The beast must stay." Ha ha ha. Mocking and despising the 8 of them, Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew that the reason the 8 of them did this was because they were afraid of the chi of heaven and earth that he released just now. Otherwise, just relying on strength alone, it was impossible to scare off the 8 great realm king patriarchs. A person is cheap for life. A pig is cheap with a knife. The 8 of you are just a waste of air while alive, and a waste of land when dead. Without waiting for the 8 patriarchs to react, Longao continued to scold. "If it wasn't for your mother being too coquettish, you wouldn't have been born so early. Sad, tragic." Longao was like this to buy time. He was very clear in his heart that the Dark Dragon inheritance had already been going on for half an hour, and the inheritance could end at any time. Therefore, he was fighting for every minute. It was precisely because of this. Longao continued to scold. "The 8 of you lack calcium since young, and lack love when you grow up. Your grandmother doesn't love you, and your uncle doesn't love you. Your left face is asking for a slap, and your right face is asking for a kick. Donkeys kick donkeys, and pigs step on pigs. Born in the year of the cucumber, asking for a slap. Born in the year of the walnut, asking for a beating. Born in the year of the motorcycle, asking for a kick. Found a wife born in the year of the screw, asking for a twist. Look at you. I taught you to practice the knife, and you practiced the sword, but you didn't practice the sword and practice the lowly. You didn't practice the golden sword and practice the silver sword. I gave you sword immortals, and you didn't want it. I gave you sword gods, and you didn't want it. You just had to shamelessly cry and shout that you wanted to be a swordsman. Sigh, why bother?" Helplessly shaking his head, Longao sighed deeply and said with a sigh, "I think the 8 of you are all handsome, suave, and elegant. Everyone loves you, and flowers bloom when they see you. It seems that the 8 of you must be the best of the scum, the beasts of the beasts." One had to admit that Longao's scolding could be considered to have turned something rotten into something magical. Those who were scolded would often be enlightened and feel refreshed. Now, only a few words could be used to describe Longao. It was precisely because this kind of scolding should only exist in the heavens, and how many times could it be heard in the mortal world? The long history of thousands of years, the history of prosperity and decline, were all put into this playful scolding. It could be said that it would linger for 3,000 days, and the lingering charm would not fade away. Chapter 347. The 8 patriarchs were stunned by the scolding. Longao had learned from the hooligans in the streets. The 8 spiritual beasts were all patriarchs of their own clans. They had never heard of such a scolding. "You're courting death. Find your sister," Longao scolded. At this time, Long Ming had just finished the inheritance. He was overjoyed and directly sent Long Ming into the dragon seal space. "Where's the beast? Human, hand over the beast, or we'll make you wish you were dead." Seeing the beast disappear for no reason, the 8 patriarchs knew clearly that the disappearance of the beast had something to do with the human in front of them. He couldn't be bothered with the 8 patriarchs. Now that Long Ming had successfully finished the inheritance, Longao naturally wouldn't continue to stay. The blood-sucking blade suddenly appeared in his hand, and he slashed down fiercely. With the previous lesson, the 8 patriarchs didn't dare to easily meet force with force. It was precisely because of this that the 8 patriarchs relaxed a little and Longao's figure had already disappeared without a trace. "Human, we'll definitely kill you." With that, the 8 patriarchs immediately chased after him. The 8 patriarchs had completely lost face. They were fighting 1 against 8, but the other party still managed to escape. If this matter were to spread, where would the 8 patriarchs' face go? Longao didn't leave the cave. He only entered the cave according to Long Ming's instructions. According to Long Ming's instructions, Longao left the cave. As expected, there was another exit here. The main purpose of entering the 9 nether space this time was to let Long Ming obtain his parents' inheritance and the treasure of the 9 nether earthly tiger clan. Since he had already obtained all of them, there was no point in continuing to stay. Originally, according to Long Ming's intention, he wanted to take revenge. Longao didn't agree to Long Ming's request. What a joke. The 8 royal clans of the 9 nether space, the Abyss Demon Scorpion clan, the Blue Clear Lion clan, the Blood-Eyed Demonic Ape clan, the Sky Mountain Bull clan, the Bloodthirsty Human Face Spider clan, the Metal Devouring Flying Ant clan, the Hell Demon Dog clan, and the Reaper Mantis clan. Each clan was stronger than the other. If Long Ming wanted to take revenge, it would simply be seeking his own destruction. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. Now that Long Ming had obtained his parents' inheritance and the 9 Abyss Netherworld Tiger's supreme treasure, as long as he had enough time to grow, Long Ming believed that he would be able to get his revenge sooner or later. Long Ming was very obedient to Longao's words. He forcefully suppressed the hatred in his heart and prepared to take revenge in the future. The man and the tiger wanted to leave, but the 8 royal families would never agree. However, Long Ming had the power of his parents' inheritance, so he could leave whenever and wherever he wanted. Just like that, Longao and Long Ming successfully left the 9 hell space. When he left, Longao told himself that one day, he would bring Long Ming back to the 9 nether space. He would not stop until the 8 imperial families were destroyed. Dragon Sect. This time, it took a total of 3 days for Longao to bring Long Ming into the 9 nether space. Therefore, when Longao returned to the Dragon Sect, no one from the rank 3 Long family or the imperial city came. Master, you're finally back. Longao, who had just returned, was shocked when he heard Dugu Bai's words. He asked curiously, Big Brother Dugu, what happened? Sect Master, there's something you don't know. Just yesterday, a mysterious expert sent a message saying that the 3rd rank Long family has sent 10 celestial masters and a great master. With our current strength, it's impossible to stop them. Longao nodded. His face was gloomy to the extreme. 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign. With such strength, not to mention the Dragon Sect, it was more than enough to destroy any force in the 9 states. The rank 3 Long family really thought highly of him. Longao was very clear in his heart that the 3rd rank Long family had sent out 10 Empyreans and 1 great Empyrean this time, not to target the sect, but to target himself. After all, how could a newly established force be so valued by the 3rd rank Long family? 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign. Such a force was simply too terrifying. Longao was very worried. If the Heaven and Earth Array formation couldn't eliminate these 11 experts, then they would be in big trouble. Longao chose to remain silent. The others also didn't speak. For a moment, the entire hall was silent. No one spoke. Everyone was waiting for Longao, the master of the Dragon Sect, to speak. After an unknown amount of time, Longao finally raised his head and said, This battle is unavoidable. No matter what happens, I'm prepared to have a good fight with the rank 3 Long family. I want to see if 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign are really that powerful. Hearing Longao's words, everyone was shocked. Wanting to fight with the rank 3 Long family was akin to courting death. It wasn't that they didn't have confidence, it was just that the rank 3 Long family was too powerful. 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign. Such strength could practically destroy any force in the 9 states. Seeing that no one spoke, Longao suddenly smiled and said, In a moment, you all lead all the disciples and leave this place. I'll stay here alone. Master, we won't leave. We swear to live and die with the sect. That's right. We swear to live and die with the sect. Looking deeply at everyone, Longao nodded and stood up to leave. In the back mountain of the Dragon Sect, Longao and the Ghost King stood on the peak of the mountain, enjoying the cold wind. Aotion suddenly said, Longao, I have to admit that I just received news that the rank 3 Long family has sent 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign. Previously, when you weren't in the Dragon Sect, I was worried that you wouldn't be able to make it back. Sure enough, Longao was still wondering who had informed the sect. It turned out that it was the Ghost King, Aotion. Longao, what are you going to do? Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. These simple words were enough to show how domineering Longao was. Even Aotion had to admit that the current Longao was no longer the same as before. If 10 heavenly venerables and a great sovereign were to attack the Ghost King sect, would the Ghost King sect be able to withstand it? Feeling a little depressed, Aotion realized that Longao had unknowingly stood at a certain height. Now, he didn't seem to have the qualifications to bargain with the other party. The next day, early morning, Su Chun brought 10 heavenly venerables from the 9 states' spiritual domain to the ordinary spiritual domain. Without saying a word, they went straight to the dragon sect in the sky region. However, Longao already knew that 11 experts from the rank 3 Long family had entered the sky region. Not only the dragon sect, but the other forces also knew. No one could understand why Longao had to provoke such powerful enemies. Previously, he had just killed 300 innate realm soldiers from the Imperial City, including a heavenly venerate. Now, he even attracted the rank 3 Long family's super experts. Chapter 348. Longao already knew that the rank 3 Long family's great venerables and 10 heavenly venerables had just entered Tianzhou. At the peak of the dragon sect, Dugubai, Xiajun, Long Patian, Xiafang and the others were all gathered at the peak of the mountain. Everyone was looking forward to it because this battle was extremely important to the dragon sect. If the dragon sect won this battle, their strength would grow rapidly and they would become famous. If they lost, the result would be obvious. Brother Long, they're here. Nodding his head, Longao didn't need Dugubai's reminder. He could already feel 11 terrifying auras approaching from afar. In the blink of an eye, they had already arrived in front of the dragon sect. Longao. Before Su Chun could speak, Longao had already appeared alone. He coldly glanced at him and said, Longao is not for you to call me that. Who do you think you are? What right do you have to call me by my name? He had to admit that Longao was indeed domineering. No matter what, Su Chan, who was standing in front of him, was still a level 3 great venerate of the Long family. No matter where he went, such a person would be a high and mighty existence. But now, Longao, who do you think you are? How dare you speak to Senior Su Chun like that? Just a dog relying on its master's power. Waving his hand to stop his angry subordinates, Su Chun suddenly sneered and said, Longao, I've already heard of your arrogance, but I still didn't expect you to be this arrogant. With a mocking smile, Su Chun continued, if you had the right to be arrogant, I might still respect you. But now, you're just a small earthly venerate. I want to ask you, do you have the right to be arrogant? Whether I'm arrogant or not is not up to you, nor is it up to me. In the battle later, I'll use facts to tell you that you're all trash. Trash? Ha ha. Hearing Longao's words, everyone laughed crazily. After all, no matter who it was, they would find it funny. An earthly venerate dared to say such bold words in front of 10 heavenly venerables and a great venerate. Was he out of his mind? Ignoring the 11 people's disdain and ridicule, Longao was delighted because he had achieved his goal. In a battle between martial artists, no matter how strong they were, they must remember not to let their state of mind become chaotic. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable if they were careless. However, in the eyes of Su Chun and the others, Longao's strength was indeed too weak. Among the 11 people, any one of them could easily kill Longao. This was the confidence brought by strength. Longao, I'm sure you know why we're here this time. Considering your courage, I'll give you a chance. Come with us, and we'll protect the dragon sect. What do you think? Contempt, unbridled contempt. Su Chun and the other 11 did not put Longao in their eyes at all. In their opinion, killing Longao would be a piece of cake for the 11 of them to gather at the dragon sect. As long as they wanted to, they could do it at any time. Longao smiled, not taking the other party's disdain seriously. He stretched out his right hand, raised his middle finger, and asked with a smile, Do you know what this means? As powerful celestial venerables and great venerables, the 11 of them were usually high and mighty. How could they know such a humble gesture? Shaking his head and sighing deeply, Longao said helplessly, You don't even know the gesture of disdain. I really feel sorry for you. Let me give you a piece of advice. You'd better buy 2 pounds of cotton now and go home to lean against the wall to slowly kill yourself. People like you can only live in sorrow even if you continue to live." Hearing the other party insult them, the 10 celestial venerables were completely enraged, but they were stopped by Su Chun. "Longao, do you mean you don't want to go with us?" The 10 celestial venerables were despised, and so was great venerable Su Chun. Since ancient times, Longao was probably the first person to despise celestial venerables and great venerables. Moreover, Longao was only an earthly venerable. I don't know if water has entered your brains or your heads have been kicked by a donkey. I'm really puzzled. Are celestial venerables and great venerables now so brainless? Longao insulted them again and again. No matter how good-tempered they couldn't bear it anymore. Even if they could bear it, they couldn't. Even if they could bear it, they couldn't bear it. Just as Su Chun and the others were about to attack in anger, Longao waved his hand and said, "The 11 of you think you're very strong. Why don't we make a bet?" "What bet?" Su Chun didn't take the other party seriously. In his opinion, the other party was already a turtle in a jar and couldn't play any tricks at all. How could Longao not know what the 11 people were thinking? He snorted in his heart, "Let you be arrogant now. I'll personally accompany you later. The third-level Long family sent you 11 masters this time, but if you only know how to talk and your strength is average, it's too shameful for the third-level Long family. Let's make a bet. You and I will fight. If you can beat me, not only will I go with you, but I'll also tell the world that the third-level Long family is worthy of its name. But if you lose, humph, we won't lose." What a joke. The 11 of them were all super experts. Any random celestial master could easily defeat the other party, not to mention joining forces. Strong confidence made the 11 people not take the bet seriously at all. The 11 of them were full of confidence that if the two sides fought, they would only win and not lose. If you lose, you must leave the Long family and join the Dragon sect. You must be loyal to the Dragon sect for generations. How about that? Longao patted his head and said with a look of sudden realization, "I almost forgot that the 11 of you don't dare to fight. It doesn't matter. The 11 of you can come together. If you can't, you can go back now and continue to call for reinforcements. I'm always ready to accompany you. How about that?" Longao's words were like slaps to the faces of the 11 of them. They felt a burning pain. No matter what, the 11 of them were celestial venerables and great venerables. How could they tolerate being despised by a mere earthly venerate? How could they continue to maintain their dignity? In the distance, "Brother Dugu, what is the sect doing?" Looking at Longao's unbridled insults and contempt for the other 11 people, Xiajun and the others were very curious. They didn't know what gave the sect such great courage to challenge 10 Empyreans and a great sovereign. It was hard to imagine what the sect was relying on. If it was in the past, Xiajun would definitely not believe it. But now, ever since Longao caused havoc in the Bloodsea sect and killed 3 great venerables, Xiajun worshipped Longao very much. He thought that Longao was omnipotent and always liked to counterattack. Moreover, every counterattack was so shocking that even ghosts and gods would cry. Chapter 349. Dugubai smiled. How could he not know Longao's intention? Brother Long is trying to disturb their minds. After all, they are 10 celestial venerables and a great venerate. Let's wait and see. Dugubai believed in Longao very much. Just as Xiajun had said, every time Longao counterattacked, they didn't dare to imagine. Since there was a first time and a second time, then there would be a third and fourth time. Everyone seemed to be used to Brother Long's strong counterattacks. "You don't dare?" Why not?" Before the celestial venerate could respond, Su Chun suddenly waved his hand and stopped him. The confidence displayed by the other party made Su Chun realize that something was wrong. However, he couldn't tell what was wrong. What was wrong? "Longao, you want to challenge the 11 of us alone?" "That's right. I'm afraid none of you are my match in a one-on-one fight. Since it's so troublesome, why don't you all come at me together? It saves me time to deal with you one by one." Arrogance. Longao's arrogance had reached the extreme. Apart from Longao, No one would dare to challenge 10 celestial venerables and a great venerate alone, let alone a mere earthly venerate. Although they knew that something was wrong, the 10 celestial venerables were still extremely angry. Their faces turned red, and they wanted to tear Longao apart. Shaking his head, Longao said mockingly, "So you are all a bunch of cowards. I despise you on behalf of your parents. Sorry, since you don't dare, I won't accompany you. Goodbye." Longao didn't continue talking nonsense. He turned and left, disappearing without a trace. Looking at Longao's departure, the 10 celestial venerables gnashed their teeth in anger. However, they didn't act out because of Su Qin's status and strength. However, they definitely couldn't accept this. As celestial venerables, they were despised by a mere earthly venerate. If this matter were to spread, not only would they lose face, but even the Long family's face would be completely lost. Elder Su Qian, are we just going to let this go? Su Qin's face was extremely ugly. Among the 11 people, he was the one who wanted to kill Longao the most. This time, he came with the mission of his family, but what was the result? Although he was unwilling to admit it, Su Qin knew that he was indeed intimidated by the other party. Longao is too confident. If I were him, I would have left long ago. Why would I wait here? What does he mean? Could it be that this kid really has the confidence to fight against the 11 of us by himself? Hearing Su Qin's words, the 10 Empyreans all rolled their eyes, fiercely despising him in their hearts. What the F*** K is this great sovereign? Take a few of them. They're not even comparable to us Empyreans. Although they were not convinced, the 10 Empyreans did not dare to say anything. After all, the gap between an Empyrean and a great Empyrean was too great. Elder Su Qian, I think this is deliberately done by Longao. His purpose is to scare us away. I don't believe that the dragon sect can withstand the combined forces of the 11 of us. I have already sensed that Longao is only an earthly venerable. I know that, but for Longao to be like this, I still feel that something is not right. Looking at the fussy Su Qian, the 10 of them were extremely depressed. They did not know where the domineering Su Qian had gone. It had only been a few minutes, but they felt as if he had become a different person. A great sovereign was a well-known figure in the 9 states spirit domain. Su Qian, in particular, had used his own strength to force his way into the Long family and become the Long family's foreign elder. His position was very high. Otherwise, the Long family would not have sent Su Qian to deal with Longao. It was also because of this that the 10 Empyreans could not understand why such a powerful figure would be afraid of a mere earthly venerable. In the Tianwu continent, martial artists ran amok. Martial artists were above all. Martial artists were strict in their ranks. Under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to challenge someone of a higher rank, especially when one's cultivation had broken through to the Xiantian realm. In the Void 8 realms, every level represented a qualitative change in one's strength. Furthermore, there was a difference of 2 levels between an earthly venerable and a great sovereign. With just a glance at the 10 Empyreans, Su Qian already knew what they were thinking. It was better to be careful than to sail a ship for 10,000 years. The domineering aura from before was indeed gone. If Longao had acted sorrowful, Su Qian would not have said anything. He would have directly killed him and brought the corpse back to the family. However, just now, Longao had acted very tough from the beginning to the end. He was even prepared to challenge the 11 of them with his own strength. What kind of concept was this? Even a great sovereign would not dare to do this, let alone a mere earthly venerable. Su Qian simply could not figure out what exactly gave Longao such great courage. Elder Su Qian, are we going to return empty-handed this time? It's really embarrassing for me to go back. Although the other 9 Empyreans did not speak, words spoke louder than words. Almost all of them had the same thought. After all, this time, the 3rd level Long family had sent out a great sovereign and 10 Empyreans with great fanfare. However, what was the final result? 10 Empyreans and a great sovereign were actually intimidated by a mere earthly venerable. The 10 of them could completely imagine that if this matter were to spread, the 10 of them, including Su Qian, would be laughed at by everyone. Su Qian sighed deeply in his heart. He thought that he was still a domineering person after all. Before coming, he had thought that he would go to the dragon sect and directly start a war regardless of the consequences. Based on their strength, it would be a matter of minutes for them to destroy the dragon sect. However, he did not know why, but when he saw Longao, especially when he saw the confidence on his face, Su Chun suddenly had a bad feeling. Su Chun had been wondering if Longao really had something to rely on and was fearless. It was always better to be safe than sorry. If Longao really had the confidence to deal with them, wouldn't the 11 of them become very passive? Elder Su Chun, if Longao really had something to rely on, he wouldn't be like this. If he really has the strength to deal with us, do you think Longao will let us go? Hearing this, Su Chin's eyes suddenly lit up. He said in a deep voice, Longao is deliberately loosening the reins only to grasp them better. He seems to be so confident, but in fact, he is extremely worried. It seems that he is still too inexperienced to play the empty fort strategy with us. Elder Su Chun, what should we do now? The 10 Empyreans seemed to be somewhat impatient. They could not wait to rush in and destroy the dragon sect, capture Longao, and torture him ruthlessly. If the 10 of them had not persisted, they believed that this time they would have been frightened. It was too dangerous. Chapter 350. In the dragon sect, seeing Longao return safely, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. All of you, go and prepare, Brother Long. It seems that the 11 of them have been intimidated by you. Are they going to attack the sect? Everyone was curious because when Longao returned, the 10 heavenly venerables and the great venerables did not make a move. This in itself showed that the 11 martial artists were intimidated. Waving his hand, Longao said in a dignified voice, if nothing unexpected happens, the 11 of them will immediately attack the sect. I have no confidence that the heaven and earth array formation can withstand the attack of a great venerables. According to Long Fu, the heaven and earth array formation was born from heaven and earth and was extremely powerful. However, the current heaven and earth array formation was obviously not domineering enough. It should be more than enough to kill a heavenly venerables, but it would be difficult to kill a great venerables. Look, they're really here. Looking over, Longao and the others saw the 11 of them quickly approaching. They were both expectant and worried, but since things had come to this point, they could only fight. There was no way to avoid it. Everyone was in position. Longao was in the center of the array formation. After a while, the 11 experts all entered. They looked around. Although they said that they were not afraid, they were more or less muttering in their hearts. Ha ha ha, Longao, weren't you very arrogant just now? Why don't you dare come out now? What a coward. I challenged you just now, but you didn't dare to accept the challenge. On behalf of the 9 states, I despise you. I despise you. As soon as Longao finished speaking, the disdain of countless people came from all around. It even scared the 11 of them. Elder Su Chun, there is indeed something wrong here. Why don't we retreat first? Among the 10 heavenly venerables, one of them knew a little about array formations. Because of this, he had noticed that something was wrong with the dragon sect as soon as he came in. He just didn't care before, but now, he found a big problem. Elder Wang, what's wrong? Elder Su Chun, this is obviously a formation. Although I can't tell the strength of the formation for the time being, I can be sure that this formation is very powerful. Hearing Elder Wang's words, everyone's expression changed. No one had thought that Longao would create a formation. After all, formation masters were very rare in the Tianwu continent, not to mention a formation master who could create a powerful formation. At this moment, everyone knew why Longao was so fearless. It turned out that he had something to rely on. Elder Wang, do you really have no way to break this formation? No. Therefore, we had better leave this place. As long as we guard the dragon sect, I don't believe that Longao will be able to escape. Su Chun sighed deeply in his heart. Chapter 351. Hearing the master's words, everyone was shocked. Master. Longao waved his hand and didn't say anything else. He had decided that no matter what happened, He would kill the great venerables and the 10 holy masters as a return gift to the third-grade Long family. The Heaven and Earth formation had been activated. The Heaven and Earth formation was based on the Heaven and Earth. It absorbed the Heaven and Earth spiritual chi to maintain the formation. The first wave of attack was simple. It was the suppression of the Heaven and Earth. Although it wasn't as strong as the Heaven and Earth spiritual chi, ordinary earthly venerables and even holy masters couldn't resist it. This was why Longao was so confident. The 11 people in the formation felt the suppression of the Heaven and Earth around them. Their faces became extremely solemn. Not daring to be careless, Su Chun led the 10 holy masters to resist the suppression of the Heaven and Earth formation. However, Longao's figure appeared again and looked coldly at the 10 of them. Longao, I'm going to kill you. Seeing Longao, the 11 people were completely furious. Like a volcano erupting, they rushed toward Longao one by one. Before they arrived, their terrifying anger and killing intent had already arrived. However, when the 11 people attacked, they missed. Illusion. Everyone, be careful. This formation contains an illusion. Illusion formation was considered a powerful formation. It was because of this that Elder Wang didn't expect that the Dragon Sect could not only set up such a powerful formation, but also contain an illusion formation. Everyone, gather together. Don't be separated. Nodding, Su Chun and the others immediately gathered back to back and resisted the Heaven and Earth spiritual chi with a solemn face. Fortunately, Su Chun was a great venerables. Otherwise, Longao would have had the chance to kill the 10 people. In the blink of an eye, inside the Heaven and Earth formation, there were gusts of cold wind and howls. Powerful soul slaves suddenly appeared. Although they were all supremes, they were all immortal. They ignored the attacks of the 11 people and seemed to have the determination to not give up until they reached their goal. What the hell is this? They can't be killed. Everyone was shocked to see that no matter how they attacked, the soul slaves around them would not die. They were like moths flying into a flame. The 11 of them were completely depressed because they really couldn't understand why these so-called soul slaves couldn't be killed. Gusts of cold wind blew, and ghostly wails and howls could be heard. They had yet to truly reach a critical juncture of life and death. Thus, the 11 of them grew worried. They had to fend off the unkillable soul slaves while constantly being on guard against the attacks from the surrounding magic arrays. Due to the dual attacks, the 11 of them began feeling vexed. Su Chun knew very well that if this situation continued, even if the 11 of them were not killed by the formation, they would be trapped by it. No matter what the result was, it was not what he wanted to see. What should he do? Outside the array, Longao looked up at the 9 heavens, waiting for an opportunity. According to Long Fu's calculations, the heavens would undergo a great change in the next few days. Lightning and thunder should be able to fuse with the Heaven and Earth formation. At that time, with the power of lightning, he would be able to kill a great sovereign. It was precisely because of this that Longao had been waiting for an opportunity. Although the Heaven and Earth formation could not kill a great sovereign, it was more than enough to trap a great sovereign. Just like this, the two sides were in a deadlock. The news that the third-level Long family had sent a great sovereign and 10 heavenly sovereigns to deal with the Dragon Sect had spread throughout the 9 provinces. Everyone slowly approached the Dragon Sect, wanting to see how the battle was going. It was unknown whether or not the Dragon Sect had done it on purpose, but the news that Su Chun and the other heavenly venerables were trapped in the array spread. Everyone who heard it was shocked, because no one had thought that a supreme venerable and 10 heavenly venerables would be trapped. What kind of concept was this? No one thought that a newly established dragon sect would have such powerful strength. At this moment, no one dared to underestimate Longao and the dragon sect. There were 2 overlords in Tianzhou, the Ghost King sect and the Dragon sect. They had always thought that the Ghost King had the support of the Imperial City and could completely suppress the Dragon sect. But now it seemed that the Dragon sect's strength could completely suppress the Ghost King sect. Without the support of the Imperial City, there was no doubt that the Dragon sect could destroy the Ghost King sect in a matter of minutes. At the back of the mountain, Longao sat quietly at the peak of the mountain, absorbing the spiritual chi of heaven and earth around him. Ever since he had trapped the Great Sovereign and the 10 heavenly sovereigns, Longao had not bothered with the 11 of them. He was waiting for an opportunity. As soon as the lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, he could officially destroy the 11 of them. Middle-level earthly venerable. Long Fu transferred all his power to Longao. Longao was also prepared to use this power to break through. The power in his body circulated, and the earthly venerable gold core continued to grow stronger, little by little. High-level earthly venerable. When the earthly venerable gold core reached a certain level, Longao had just broken through the middle-level earthly venerable realm and finally advanced to the high-level earthly venerable realm. Chapter 352. Inside the Dragon Seal Space. Long Fu, are you sure? Nodding his head, Long Fu said indifferently, I've already sensed it. There will be lightning and thunder in 3 days at most. 3 days. Longao was overjoyed. He couldn't wait any longer. No matter what, the grudge between him and the third-level dragon clan had reached the point where one of them had to die. Longao knew very well that if he was soft-hearted, he would be the one to suffer in the end. Being merciful to the enemy was the greatest cruelty to oneself. After leaving the Dragon Seal Space, Longao didn't continue to cultivate because he knew that to break through from peak earthly venerable to heavenly venerable, he would need a terrifying amount of power. Longao had already decided that if he could kill a great venerable this time, he would refine it into power and break through to heavenly venerable in one fell swoop. In fact, Longao was also very conflicted about this problem. If he killed a great venerable, should he refine it into a soul slave or corpse slave, or refine it into power to help him break through to heavenly venerable? After thinking about it, Longao finally decided to refine the power. Ghost King's Sect. Imperial City Law Enforcement Heavenly Venerable Hua Fin came for the second time. His face was unusually cold. Ao Shichong heard that Hua Fan had arrived and hurried out to greet him. But before he could react, he was killed by Hua Fan's palm. Ao Tian, who had just arrived, was stunned when he saw the scene in front of him. He didn't know what had happened. Senior Hua Fan, this. Waving his hand, Hua Fan said coldly, you can't do anything right. 300 inborn experts and a law enforcement, heavenly venerable can't even destroy Dragon Sect. What's the use of having you? He despised Hua Fan in his heart. 300 inborn experts and a law enforcement, heavenly venerable couldn't destroy Dragon Sect. It's your fault. What does it have to do with Ghost King's Sect? But Ao Tian didn't dare to say anything. After all, even his grandfather was killed by a palm, let alone him. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't angry. But was there any use in being angry? Ao Tian's heart was full of hatred. He thought that Ghost King's Sect could dominate Tianzhou, but he didn't expect that his grandfather would provoke Imperial City. Now, Ghost King's Sect had become a puppet. Ao Tian, how are the rank 3 Long family and Dragon Sect doing? Senior Hua Fin, I heard that a great venerable and 10 celestial venerables from the 3rd level Long family are all trapped in the Dragon Sect. It's been 6 days. Hearing this, Hua Fin's expression turned ugly. Longao and the Dragon Sect dare to openly oppose our Imperial City. If it weren't for the rank 3 Long family, our Imperial City would have destroyed the Longao. Before Ao Tian could speak, Hua Fin suddenly asked, I heard that Ao Shue and Longao have a good relationship? His heart sank. Go where? Ao Shue immediately became alert. She seemed to have guessed something. She turned to her father and asked, Is this your idea? Ao Tian sighed deeply and said helplessly, Ao Shue, it's okay. This time, Senior Hua Fin wants to invite you to the Imperial City as a guest. He will send you back later. Ao Shue was not a fool. Of course, she knew what Hua Fin meant. He wanted to capture her and lure Longao to the Imperial City. What a despicable Imperial City. Ao Shue was even more unwilling to believe that her father was involved in this matter. Didn't this mean that her father had betrayed her? Ao Shue did not want to believe it. She did not want to believe it. Father, am I your biological daughter? Ao Shue, this time you're going to the Imperial City as a guest. I promise that nothing will happen to you. Ha ha ha, what a nice way to put it. Going to the Imperial City as a guest? You want to lure Longao to the Imperial City. Let me tell you, even if I die, I won't. Before Aoshue could speak, Huofan had already moved. Then, Aoshue's body slowly softened, and she fell into Huofan's arms. Huofan sneered and said, "The young master likes beautiful women the most, and you can lure Longao to the Imperial City. 2 birds with 1 stone. Not bad, not bad." Huofan, "Okay, I'll go first." Spread the news that Aoshue was captured and brought to the Imperial City. Remember, you must spread the news to the dragon sect. Chapter 353. According to what Long Fu said, there would definitely be lightning and thunder within 3 days. Because of this, Longao was waiting for the lightning and thunder. When the time came, with the help of the heaven and earth array and the power of lightning, he believed that it would be enough to kill a great sage. The next day, Longao was still waiting, but at this time, the Ghost King sect suddenly sent a message that almost made Longao explode. Aoshue was captured by the Imperial City. Longao, of course, knew why the Imperial City captured Aoshue. They wanted to lure him to the Imperial City. What a despicable and shameless Imperial City. They didn't dare to fight him openly, but used such a method. Dragon Sect, Great Hall. Master, you must not go to the spirit domain of the 9 states. The Imperial City captured Aoshue this time to lure you to deal with you. If you really go, won't you fall into the Imperial City's trap? Brother Dugu is right. Master, you must not go. How could Longao not know about everyone's worries? Was he really not going? The Imperial City captured Aoshue this time. If I don't go, Aoshue will be in danger. So, I will go to the Imperial City. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Everyone knew the sect master's character very well. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind under normal circumstances. Could it be that the sect master was really going to the Imperial City? As one of the 4 major forces of the 9 states, the Imperial City's power was obvious. The Imperial City's intention was obvious. They wanted to lure Longao to the Imperial City. After all, the Imperial City's army was wiped out, and now the rank 3 Long family was involved in this matter. The Imperial City was not stupid. If they attacked the Dragon Sect now, they would not give face to the rank 3 Long family. Because of this, the Imperial City finally chose to capture Aoshue and use Aoshue as bait to lure Longao to the Imperial City. This way, even if the Imperial City killed Longao, the rank 3 Long family would not say anything. His anger reached the heavens. In the end, Longao suppressed it and did not immediately leave the sect for the 9-state spirit domain because he knew that the most important thing now was to deal with the 11 experts of the 3rd rank Long family. Seeing Longao's gloomy face, no one dared to speak. Everyone in the world knew about Longao's feelings for Aoshue. Otherwise, Longao would not risk his life for a woman and barge into the Ghost King sect to kidnap the bride. Now that Aoshue had been captured by the Imperial City, it was obvious how angry Longao was. He was just suppressing it. Rumble, rumble. At this time, thunder suddenly sounded in the sky, one after another, and dark clouds covered the sky. In the blink of an eye, the whole sky darkened, and it was dark, giving people a feeling of suffocation. Standing up abruptly, Longao's face was filled with surprise. After waiting for 7 days, this day had finally arrived. The 11-rank 3 Long family martial artists were in for a tragedy. In the heaven and earth array, after being trapped for 7 days, the 11 of them were already exhausted, especially when they had to constantly resist the attacks of the soul slaves. Imagine, if you met someone who could not be killed, over time, what would happen to you? Among the 10 holy sovereigns, some had already given up resisting. Since they were going to die anyway, why torture themselves like this? However, Su Chun did not choose to give up. To resist for 7 days, this was the strength of a great sovereign, incomparably powerful. Longao, if you have the ability, come out and have a fair fight with us. You only know how to hide in the dark. What kind of hero are you, you coward? They thought that no one would answer. After all, They did not know how many times they had shouted in the past 7 days, but no one appeared. But at this time, the winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. As long as I can kill you, I will be the winner. If this matter spreads out, everyone will worship me, Longao, and not look down on me. But now, I will give you a chance. As long as you can endure, regardless of life or death, I will let you go. Okay, it's a deal. Hearing Longao's words, the 11 of them were really relieved. They had endured for 7 days, and it would be easy for them to endure a little longer. In the end, the 11 of them still did not put Longao in their eyes. In their opinion, if it weren't for the formation, Longao would be dead now. As for the dragon sect, Longao's figure disappeared into the heaven and earth formation again. When Longao had set up the heaven and earth array formation, he had integrated the previous setup into the array formation. No matter what, a great venerate was too powerful. The heaven and earth array formation alone could not kill a great venerate. Rumble, rumble, crack. Bolts of lightning crazily struck the heaven and earth formation. The entire formation was like a huge magnetic field, and it looked terrifying in the dark heaven and earth. Seeing the power of lightning constantly striking the formation, the 11 of them seemed to have guessed something, and they were shocked to the extreme. The 10 Empyreans didn't even have the slightest chance to react because the lightning was too fast. With a few cracking sounds, 6 of the 10 Empyreans were directly struck to death. Not even their souls were left behind. Shocked, Suchin didn't dare to resist at all. He constantly dodged. As for the remaining 4 Empyreans, their fates were almost exactly the same. They were all struck to death by lightning. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Suchin's anger erupted like a volcano, but he was trapped here by the heaven and earth formation and had nowhere to vent. Longao, I must tear you to pieces. Ha ha ha, you think you can do it? Chapter 354. Inside the heaven and earth array. Barely surviving the lightning strike, Su Chun weakly fell to the ground, his face filled with anger. Looking at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him, Su Chun wanted to stand up several times, but in the end, he couldn't. Longao, you won. But I'm not convinced because you didn't rely on your strength to defeat me. Shaking his head, Longao said mockingly, I have just said that the winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. Since I have won, you have to be my subordinate. Also, the heaven and earth formation is not a heretical method. Suchin wanted to say something, but in the end, he didn't say anything. After all, Longao was right. The winner was king, and the loser was a bandit. His heart was filled with unwillingness, but what could he do about it? Suchin, according to our agreement, you've already lost. But seeing that you're a talent, I'll give you a chance to choose to surrender. Ha ha ha, Longao, don't be delusional. If you can defeat me fair and square, I will choose to submit. But now, I despise you. If it was before, Longao might think of a way to subdue Su Chun, but now, he was worried about Aoshua's safety. He didn't bother to talk nonsense and directly killed Su Chun with a punch, sending his soul into the dragon seal space. After dealing with Su Chun and the other 11, Longao couldn't wait to absorb Su Chen's soul and immediately left the sect for the 9-state spirit domain. 9-state spirit domain. There were 4 major forces: East Royal City, West 3rd Rank Long Family, South Netherworld Mansion, and North Ethereal Palace. This was Longao's second time entering the 9-state spirit domain. He tried countless ways to use the teleportation array. Longao was very depressed about the teleportation array because all the teleportation arrays were in the hands of the 4 major forces. If he wanted to go back and forth, he had to get the consent of the 4 major forces. Because of this, Longao had decided that if there was a chance in the future, he must personally make some teleportation arrays to save the trouble of going back and forth. Longao entered the 9-region spirit domain, and his destination was the Imperial City. Before coming here, Longao made a special trip to the Ghost King sect. After all, Aoshue was captured in the Ghost King sect. According to Aotion, Hua Fon had 2 motives for capturing Aoshue. The first was to lure him to the Imperial City. The second was to find a wife for the imperial city's young master. Hearing this, Longao immediately set off. What a joke. If he was late, wouldn't his wife become someone else's wife? Longao had always looked down on proud heaven in his heart. A person who could even give up his own daughter, no matter how talented he was still a shameless person in the end. Longao had already decided that after saving Aoshue this time, no matter what Ao Tian said, he would not allow Aoshue to return to the Ghost King sect. The Imperial City was one of the 4 major forces in the spirit realm of the 9 states. The Imperial City had hundreds of cities and towns, but the Imperial City was the core. It was the headquarters of the Imperial City. Ordinary people could not enter the Imperial City at all. They had to have the Imperial City Qualification Certificate. However, the Imperial City Qualification Certificate was very easy to obtain. After all, for powerful warriors, it was not a big deal. Longao obtained the Imperial City Qualification Certificate and smoothly entered the Imperial City. However, he still disguised himself a little. Longao was very clear that he was now a popular person in the Imperial City. If he was recognized by the Imperial City, the consequences would be unimaginable. In a luxurious restaurant, by the window. Sir, what do you need? Without the slightest nonsense, Longao took out 2 Xianneon beast cores and said, I want to know about the Imperial City's young master. Imperial City's young master? The waiter muttered in his heart. With a puzzled expression, he asked, Sir, who do you want to know? Duan Tianfeng. Putting away the 2 beast cores on the table, the waiter asked in a low voice, Sir, what do you want to know? My information is very expensive. Different information has different prices. What a greedy waiter. Longao took out 10 Xianneon beast cores and asked, Is this enough? With his eyes shining, the waiter chuckled and nodded. It's enough. Sir, what do you want to know? If I know, I will tell you everything I know. Tell me everything you know. All right. Duan Tianfeng is the youngest son of our Imperial City's city lord. However, he is also the most hedonistic son. When he said this, the waiter gave him a look. His meaning was clear. He continued, Duan Tianfeng comes out every day and goes to 100 Flowers Pavilion to have fun. However, I heard a rumor recently that Duan Tianfeng wants to get married for some reason. Apparently, the other party is from an ordinary spirit realm. Waving his hand, Longao already knew who Duan Tianfeng wanted to marry. The waiter was in the middle of talking. Seeing that Sir was not willing to continue listening, he was very curious. However, he did not dare to provoke him, so he bowed and left. Duan Tianfeng, humph. Longao sat for a while, then immediately got up and left the inn. The 100 Flowers Pavilion was the most famous place in the Imperial City because the women here were all as beautiful as fairies, especially the top courtesan of the 100 Flowers Pavilion. However, no one dared to have any thoughts about her. Everyone in the Imperial City knew that the top courtesan of the 100 Flowers Pavilion was the master of the Imperial City's young masters. Who dared to provoke Duan Tianfeng? The Imperial City was already brightly lit when the sky turned dark. It was even more lively than during the day. Especially the 100 Flowers Pavilion. It was the best place for men to enjoy themselves. The 100 Flowers Pavilion was filled with people. Look, Duan Tianfeng is here again. Sigh, I wonder who is going to be unlucky tonight. Fuck, who told him to have a good father? Who dares to provoke him in the Imperial City? Duan Tianfeng was the youngest son of the Imperial City's city lord. Perhaps because he was spoiled too much, Duan Tianfeng ran amok in the Imperial City, doing all kinds of bad things. A few days ago, when Hua Fan brought back Aoshue, Duan Tianfeng was deeply infatuated with her after just one glance. However, Aoshue would rather die than submit to him. Duan Tianfeng had no choice but to wait. It had been 3 days since he came out. Today, he couldn't hold it in any longer and came out for some fresh air. Ha ha ha, where's my little beauty? I've missed you so much. Duan Tianfeng looked like a sissy. When he entered the 100 Flowers Pavilion, he couldn't care less about bullying others. He went straight to the courtesan's room and prepared to have a good fight. Everyone was relieved when they saw Duan Tianfeng enter the courtesan's room. No matter what, Duan Tianfeng wouldn't come out tonight. Inside the room, an extremely beautiful young woman sat quietly. She was already used to this kind of thing, so she treated it as if she was being pressed down by a ghost. She was expressionless as she catered to Duan Tianfeng. After 6 hours of madness, Duan Tianfeng finally lay down in exhaustion. It feels good to be scolded by him. Does it really feel good? It really feels good. Young master. Duan Tianfeng waved his hand and coldly said, "Let's go back." Then, Duan Tianfeng left the 100 Flowers Pavilion with his subordinates and headed for the imperial city. Several of his subordinates were very curious. They did not know what had happened to the young master. It was as if he had changed into a different person. No one dared to ask and could only follow obediently. Just like this, Duan Tianfeng led everyone back to the imperial city. The imperial city occupied 1/10 of the entire imperial city. It was like a small city and could be called a city within a city. Duan Tianfeng was the city lord's youngest son. His status in the imperial city was very high. Although everyone looked down on him, Duan Tianfeng chose to ignore him. Duan Tianfeng returned to the imperial city and directly headed for Aoshua's residence. Along the way, he met his father, Duan He, who was also the city lord of the imperial city. Tianfeng, father, you're looking for me? Duan Tianfeng's corpse was controlled by Longao. Fortunately, he merged with his soul. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. After all, the city lord of the imperial city was one of the strongest existences in the 9 provinces. Duan He did not suspect his son at all. After all, this was the imperial city's headquarters. Who would dare to behave atrociously here? Tianfeng, cultivate well during this period. I will arrange for you to enter the 9 provinces mystery realm next time. Understand? 9 provinces mystery realm? Outside the imperial city, Longao was puzzled. When he merged with Duan Tianfeng's soul, he did not remember anything about the 9 provinces mystery realm. Thus, he asked, "Father, what is the 9 provinces mystery realm?" Now, it's time to tell you about the 9 provinces mystery realm. Duan He pulled Duan Tianfeng to a pavilion, and the father and son sat down. Duan He sighed deeply in his heart. He felt a deep sense of guilt towards his youngest son. It turned out that Duan Tianfeng's mother had died in order to save Duan He. Thus, Duan He liked this youngest son the most. However, Duan Tianfeng had been a spoiled brat since he was young. He had lost face for him in the imperial city. Even so, Duan He could not bear to scold him. Tianfeng, the 9 provinces mystery realm is the cultivation holy land of the 9 provinces. Back then, it was discovered by our 4 major powers. This matter was hidden very well. No one knows about it. Once the Long family and other superpowers know about it, the 9 provinces mystery realm will never belong to us again. Hearing Duan He's words, Longao was also curious about the 9 provinces mystery realm. Just what kind of place was it that was so mysterious and powerful? The 9 provinces mystery realm opens once a year. As long as someone enters, they will have a breakthrough in their cultivation when they come out. However, the 9 nether mystery realm has a great restriction. Those below the World King realm cannot enter. Thus, entering the 9 nether mystery realm this time is a very good opportunity for you to gain experience. Father, when will the 9 nether mystery realm open? After so many years of continuous research, we have gradually grasped the opening and closing time of the 9 secluded mystery realm. Every year, the 9 secluded mystery realm will be open for a month, and only 20 people can enter each time. The 4 forces each have 5 spots. However, not everyone can come out safely after entering the 9 secluded mystery realm. Duan Tianfeng nodded. Under Longao's control, he naturally would not speak carelessly. Instead, he asked, "How do I enter?" It's very simple. This is the key to the 9 provinces mystery realm. Before the 9 provinces mystery realm opens, the 4 major powers will each refine 5 keys. Each power has a total of 20 keys. This is yours. Duan Tianfeng took the key from Duan He. Longao was extremely excited. He never thought that he would be able to obtain such a harvest this time. It would be a waste if he didn't go. If he could cultivate and break through to the Empyrean or even Great Sovereign Realm after entering the 9 Provinces Mystery Realm, that would be a very good thing. Tianfeng, as for your marriage with Aoshue, we will discuss it after you return from the 9 Nether Mystery Realm. Don't worry, Aoshue will not die. I still want to take her as a baby. If there are no accidents, Longao will come later. I will take advantage of this time to deal with this person. You can enter the 9 Provinces Mystery Realm with peace of mind. Duan Tianfeng nodded and said with a smile, Thank you, father. I want to see Aoshue. Chapter 356. Inside the elegant courtyard. Aoshue had just sat down when she saw Duan Tianfeng walk in. She angrily said, Get out. If it was any other time, Duan Tianfeng would definitely tease Aoshue. But now, Duan Tianfeng sat down quietly and stared at Aoshue without blinking. Aoshue was very confused. She didn't know what was going on with Duan Tianfeng. Aoshue, it's me. Is there something wrong with your head? Get out. Aoshue, I'm Longao. Longao? Seeing Duan Tianfeng lie without batting an eyelid, Aoshue despised him to the extreme. She had seen shameless people before, but she had never seen someone so shameless. It was clearly Duan Tianfeng, but he insisted that he was Longao. Such a person was shameless to the extreme. Duan Tianfeng, do you know that you're disgusting? If you're Longao, then I'm Longao. Get out, or I won't be polite to you. Aoshue saw that not only did Duan Tianfeng not leave, but he was also smiling at her. She was instantly enraged. You. That night in the cave, Aoshue's body suddenly trembled, because in this world, only 2 people knew about that night in the cave. The first was her, and the second was Longao. In other words, it was impossible for Duan Tianfeng to know about that. However, Aoshue still found it hard to believe. After all, the person in front of her was indeed Duan Tianfeng. How could he be Longao? Aoshue, I'm really Longao. I killed Duan Tianfeng and refined him into a corpse slave. Don't shout now. Follow me. As long as we leave the Imperial City, we'll be safe. With curiosity in its heart, Aoshue chose to believe him in the end. Just like that, Aoshue followed Duan Tianfeng out of the room. When the servants saw that their young master had finally settled Aoshue, they all smiled. See, I told you. How could there be such a chaste woman in this world? With young master's strength and status, unless one is a fool, no one can resist such temptation. AI. Duan Tianfeng ignored the discussions around him, but Aoshue couldn't stand it. Aoshue, suppress it. Let's get out of here first. Taking a deep breath, Aoshue finally suppressed the rage in her heart. However, at that moment, Duan He suddenly appeared. Seeing the 2 of them preparing to leave, he asked curiously, Tianfeng, I just said that you should cultivate properly during this period. Where are you going? Seeing the sudden appearance of Duan He, Longao and Aoshue were both shocked. Longao controlled Duan Tianfeng and indifferently said, Father, I'm taking Aoshue out for a walk. Duan He seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he didn't say anything. Waving his hand, Duan He said, Go. Mud can't support a wall. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Duan He's face was somewhat doubtful. This was because he discovered that his son seemed a bit strange today. However, Duan He didn't suspect anything. In the end, Duan He was too confident in himself and the Imperial City. He wouldn't believe that someone would dare to provoke a tiger. Taking Aoshue with him, Longao and Aoshue left the Imperial City quickly. Only then did they truly let out a sigh of relief. Returning to the inn, Longao, is it really you? Directly jumping into Longao's arms, Aoshue was really afraid. This was because she knew very well why the Imperial City had captured her this time. If Longao really came to save her, the consequences would be unimaginable. After comforting Aoshue for a while, Longao told her everything that had happened. After listening, Aoshue couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Aoshue naturally knew the strength of the Imperial City. With just Longao's strength, it was impossible for him to fight against the entire Imperial City. However, everything was fine now. As long as they left the Imperial City, they would be completely safe. Longao, let's leave the Imperial City now. Shaking his head, Longao said, I have something to tell you. Although confused, Aoshue still asked, What is it? Aoshue, I just learned about the 9 states mystery realm from Duan He. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. How about this? I'll send you back to my family. I want to take a look. Will it be dangerous? Yes, but not very. After all, I have Duan Tianfeng's corpse slave. I believe that no one will recognize me. This time, I entered the 9 states mystery realm mainly to cultivate. Once I break through, I will leave. Since things had already come to this point, Aoshue knew that she couldn't refuse. The two of them didn't continue to stay in the Imperial City. Longao still chose to use the teleportation formation in the Imperial City because that heavenly venerable senior was a very kind person. Just like that, Longao sent Aoshue back to her family. When Mu Lin saw that Longao had brought back a daughter-in-law, she was so happy that she couldn't stop smiling. Longao's position in the Long family was very high, even higher than Long Haosher's, because everyone knew very well that Longao was already a super expert of the continent. If it wasn't for Longao's counterattack, the Long family wouldn't have been able to rise, although the Long family had to hide now. Aoshue, stay with mother for this time. Yes, go. Be careful. All right. You go do what you need to do. Leave Aoshue to me. Come with me. Mu Lin seemed to be impatient. She grabbed Aoshue's hand and left. No one was the slightest bit surprised that Longao had a second wife. In the martial heaven continent, the more people liked an expert, the more charismatic and powerful they were. It would be strange if Longao only had one woman in his life. Aoer, we already know everything about the dragon sect. The third-rank Long family definitely won't let this matter rest. It seems we'll have to think about it carefully. Longao nodded. He was well aware of his grandfather's worries. Chapter 357. Although Longao was also a dragon martial artist, he had never seen a true dragon martial artist before. Because of this, he really wanted to see a dragon martial artist. Longao knew clearly that with his grudge with the rank 3 Long clan, he would have to face a dragon martial artist sooner or later. Aoer, I just heard from Aoshue that you are going to the 9 states secret territory. Where is that place? Longao knew that his grandfather was worried about him. Grandfather, the 9 states secret territory is the sacred cultivation ground of the 9 states. I have already obtained the key and have Duan Tianfeng as a puppet. I am confident that I can enter and leave smoothly. This is a chance for me to increase my strength. I will not miss it. Long Haosher knew his grandson's personality very well. Aoer, be careful. I know, grandfather. Not wanting to continue on this topic, Longao changed the topic and said, Grandfather, how is the clan's strength now? The progress is very slow. According to your expectations, it is far from enough. Longao understood. After all, the clan's starting point was too low. It would not be easy to rush up in a short period of time. After thinking about it, Longao said, Grandfather, I am going to increase the clan's speed of improvement. Curious, Long Haosher asked, Aoer, what are you going to do? Everyone knew that a martial artist's cultivation had to be done step by step. One could not be too hasty. Since that was the case, what was Aoer's intention? Longao did not hide anything from his grandfather. He said, in a while, I will force my spirit energy into everyone's body and help them increase their strength quickly. Seeing Aoer so confident, although Long Haosher was worried, he did not say anything. He knew that Aoer would not harm his family. Just like that, Long Haosher summoned all the disciples, including Long Ying. Although Long Ying had obtained Long Baishan's inheritance, it would not be easy for her to increase her strength quickly. Therefore, Longao was prepared to help his elder brother. Big brother, wait a moment. All of you must guard your origin. Do not resist. I will force my spirit energy into your body. No matter how painful it is, you must endure it. I can guarantee that as long as you can endure it, you will be able to increase your strength by 2 levels. Hearing this, everyone was extremely excited. 7th brother, are you confident? Big brother, don't worry. You guys should calm down first. We will start in a while. In the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, Are you ready? Longao clearly knew that if they wanted to break through together, they couldn't rely on themselves. Unless they had Long Fu's help, because only the blood pool could refine spirit force. Master, if you absorb such a huge amount of energy, it will be of great help to you in breaking through to the Empyrean realm. Are you really going to give it to them? Longao naturally knew that this huge force would be very helpful to him, but for the sake of his family, he would rather give up this opportunity. Longao knew that the overall strength of his family was too weak. He had to improve it as soon as possible. This way, he wouldn't have to worry about the safety of his family all the time. This time, after killing Su Chun and the others, Longao was certain that it wouldn't be long before the third-rank Long family would launch a large-scale attack. It was better to be safe than sorry. Therefore, the stronger the family's strength, the more advantageous it would be. It was precisely because of this that Longao was prepared to contribute this force to increase the family's ability to protect themselves. Since he had already said this, Long Fu did not say anything more. Longao looked at his brothers and sisters in front of him and said in a deep voice, "After such a long period of experience, I can tell you clearly that with your current strength, not to mention the 9 regions, even in the Tianzhou region, you are the lowest existence. You will be killed at any time. Therefore, you must improve your strength as soon as possible." If it was in the past, everyone would snort in disdain and even despise Longao's words. But now, the situation had been completely reversed. Longao's position in the Long family had even surpassed Long Haosher's. Furthermore, Longao had gone out to train and had indeed done great things. Regarding this point, they had to admit. Furthermore, no one was unwilling to improve their strength. With such a rare opportunity, whoever missed it would be a fool, the biggest fool in the world. Seeing that everyone was ready, Longao immediately communicated with the Dragon Seal space. Following that, a terrifying spiritual energy came out and enveloped everyone. Before Long Ying could react, he already felt a terrifying energy enter his body and flow throughout his body. Everyone, don't resist. Try your best to integrate. Just as the spiritual energy entered their bodies, some people were already in so much pain that they almost fainted. However, in order to become stronger, everyone persevered. 9 regions spiritual domain, 3rd rank Long family, main hall. With a loud bang, a deep hole was formed in the ground. Long Maoen's face was extremely gloomy. The anger in his heart was like an erupting volcano. This was because he had never thought that the Supreme Venerate and 10 heavenly Venerates he had sent this time would all be wiped out. Not a single one of them returned alive. 10 heavenly Venerates were nothing, especially a Supreme Venerate, who was extremely important to the 4 major forces. The Long family could not afford to lose a 3rd-rank Supreme Venerate. Patriarch, according to the rumors, the Dragon Sect has a powerful formation that trapped Elder Su Chun and 11 others. In the end, it triggered the heavenly lightning tribulation and struck them to death. Chapter 358. Long Chun, the number 1 junior of the 3rd-rank Long family, a world king martial artist. More importantly, Long Chun was the only person from the 3rd-rank Long family to enter the Dragon ranking. The Dragon ranking was the most powerful ranking of the Long family. Anyone that could enter the Dragon ranking was a super powerhouse of the Long family, a heaven-gifted genius. Just imagine, in the entire 3rd-rank Long family, there was only one person on the Dragon ranking. From this, one could imagine how terrifying the Dragon ranking was. Waving his hand, Long Maoen thoughtfully said, "Go, I know what to do." Without waiting for Long Yin to summon him, Long Chun had already walked in. He was around 31 or 32 years old, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes. His body was tall and sturdy, especially his arms. They were thicker than an average person's. Besides his talent and strength, Long Chun was also born with divine strength. Long Chun, "Uncle, there is no need to say anything. I already know of the grudges between the family and Long Ao. Leave this matter to me. I will definitely bring back Long Ao's head." "Good, Uncle will wait for you." Long Chun turned and left. In the 3rd-rank Long family, Long Chun was not only strong but also a dragon martial artist. But even with such strength, he was only ranked 100 on the dragon ranking. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. With the help of Longao and Long Fu, the cultivation of Long Ying and the others had increased greatly. However, it was still not enough. Therefore, everyone immediately chose to go into seclusion to cultivate. Regarding this, Long Haosher did not have the slightest objection. It would be a lie to say that he was not happy. Seeing his grandson's strength increase greatly, Long Haosher was probably the happiest. Master, someone sent a letter of challenge. A letter of challenge? Long Ao was very curious. He did not know who sent him a letter of challenge. After receiving the so-called letter of challenge, Long Ao opened it. With just a glance, his expression turned serious. It was the third-rank Long family again. Ao, what happened? Passing the letter of challenge to his grandfather, Long Ao said in a dignified voice, "It seems that the third-rank Long family is completely anxious. I wonder who this Long Chen is?" Right after he received the letter of challenge, Long Ao received a letter from Ghost King Ao Tian. The content was very simple. It was about Long Chen's identity and everything else. Long Chen, ranked 100th on the dragon list, a world king martial artist. After seeing Long Chen's identity, Long Ao and the rest were completely stunned. They never thought that the rank 3 Long family would send out such a powerful person. Long Ao was almost certain that not only was Long Chen ranked in the top 100 of the dragon rankings, he was even a dragon martial artist. Long Ao naturally knew what it meant to be ranked 100th on the dragon ranking. It was precisely because of this that he could not understand why the rank 3 Long family would send Long Chen over. Ao, how are you going to deal with this? How could Long Ao not know about his grandfather's worries? He smiled and said, "Different situations call for different actions. I am also looking forward to seeing how strong a dragon martial artist ranked 100th on the dragon ranking is." Long Ao was even more aware of just how powerful the dragon ranking was. Long Chen was a true world king martial artist, but he was only ranked 100th on the dragon decree. From this, one could imagine just how powerful a martial artist ranked near the top of the dragon decree was. From this, one could imagine just how terrifying the strength of the Long family was. In any case, with Long Chen's strength, Long Ao was not the least bit careless. Long Ao was even more aware that even if he borrowed the power of the heaven and earth array formation and fused it with the power of tribulation thunder, his chances of killing Long Chen would not surpass 50% unless the power of the heaven and earth array formation doubled. Long Chen. Long Ao deeply engraved this name into his mind. This time, Long Chen had come alone without bringing any subordinates. This was his confidence. In Long Chen's eyes, a mere Scarlet Fire Town's Long family disciple was not worth mentioning at all. He had only been lucky enough to have the heaven and earth array formation to help him kill Su Chen and the others. The contents of the letter of challenge were simple. It was to invite Long Ao to the summit of Heavenly Mountain for a battle. Heavenly Mountain was the most famous mountain peak in the Sky Province. Looking up from below, the entire mountain peak seemed to connect with the heavens. There were even rumors that no one had ever been able to reach the summit of Heavenly Mountain. Others might not be able to do so, but that didn't mean Long Ao and Long Chen couldn't. As powerful martial artists, Long Ao and Long Chen definitely had the strength to reach the summit of Heavenly Mountain. It was just that Long Ao was still hesitating. Should he accept Long Chen's challenge or not? With his current strength, it was impossible for him to be a match for a world king martial artist. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. The reason Long Chen is challenging you this time is clearly to deal with you. Since you know you can't defeat him, why do you still want to go? Grandfather, there are things a martial artist can and cannot do. As a martial artist, if I don't accept Long Chen's challenge, then can I still be considered a qualified martial artist? Hearing his grandson's words, Long Haosher was shocked. He impatiently said, "Ao, you absolutely cannot be reckless in this matter. Listen to your grandfather's advice. Revenge is a dish best served cold." Grandfather, I will say the same thing. The dignity of a martial artist cannot be trampled upon. Long Ao had already decided that no matter what happened, he would accept the challenge. Longao deeply sighed. How could he not know his grandson's personality? Once he decided on something, it was nearly impossible to change his mind. It was because of this that Longao didn't continue to persuade him. He nodded and said, Aoer, since you insist on going, then promise your grandfather one thing. No matter what, you have to come back alive. Do you understand? Longao certainly knew that his grandfather was worried about him. He nodded and said, Grandfather, don't worry. I will definitely come back alive. Longao didn't know why, but as he looked at his grandson's confident expression, he truly believed that his son could defeat Longchun and come back alive. After all, everything that had happened to his grandson during this time had already explained everything. Longao didn't have a deep understanding of Longchen, but he was sure of one thing, and that was that Longchun wasn't mediocre at all. Just being at the World King realm and being ranked 100th on the Might Dragon decree already proved just how strong Longchun was. This battle was unavoidable. Longao clearly knew that he wasn't Longchen's match, but he still chose to accept the challenge in the end. Once news of this spread out, it thoroughly shook the entire 9 provinces. Everyone wanted to see just who would emerge victorious between the legendary Longchun and the newly risen Longao. The battle between these two could be considered the grandest event of the 9 provinces. Countless people flocked in from all directions, including people from all the influences of the 8 provinces. Before Longao and Longchun arrived at Heavenly Mountain, the surroundings were already filled with people, all of them excitedly waiting. This battle would decide the fates of Longao and Longchun. The victor's name would shake the 9 provinces, and even the spirit realm of the 9 provinces. The loser would perish here. Everyone was looking forward to the clash between the strongest of 2 peerless geniuses. Because of this, the hidden Long family had finally appeared under the leadership of Longao. Moreover, the 3rd-level Long family had rushed down from the spirit realm of the 9 provinces. Chapter 359. Even the 3rd-level Long family had never imagined that Longao would accept this challenge. Spirit region of the 9 states, 3rd-level Long family, main hall. At this moment, Long Yin and Long Maoen's complexions were gloomy to the extreme, as ugly as they could be. It turned out that after Longao killed Su Chun, he had only left behind his soul and sent the remaining 11 corpses back to the Long family. The meaning behind this was simple. To be humiliated like this was unbearable. Even if they could endure it, they couldn't. Elder, let's go personally. I want to see just how arrogant this Longao is. Provoking the Long family was something that Long Maoen couldn't accept. Long Yin sighed deeply and helplessly said, Patriarch, you and I both know Long Chen's personality. This time, Long Chun challenged Longao, and Longao has already accepted the challenge. If we kill Longao now, Long Chun will definitely not be happy. To lose Long Chun for a mere Longao is not worth it. Long Maoen, who had been infuriated just a moment ago, immediately sat down when he heard the word twice. Nodding, Long Maoen said, I've always felt that something is wrong. Longao is only an earthly venerable, so how would he dare to accept Long Chen's challenge? Could it be that this boy is hiding his strength and his cultivation has already broken through to the World King realm? If it were before, Long Maoen wouldn't have been so worried. But now, ever since Su Chun and the other 11 people were killed, Long Maoen dreaded this Longao. If it weren't for Long Chun, he would have already attacked. Patriarch, I've already asked about Longao's cultivation. He is truly at the earthly venerable realm. The only reason he was able to kill Su Chun was because he relied on the power of the array formation. Then why does Longao dare to accept the challenge? He's just bluffing. He wants to use Long Chun to increase his fame. As for whether or not he really dares to go, that's still unknown. Nodding in agreement, Long Maoen and Long Yin looked at the 11 corpses on the ground. Killing intent surged from their bodies, and they wished they could immediately rush to the ordinary spirit region. With regards to Longao's actions, Longao and the others were also shocked. Not only did you kill the other party's 11 experts, but now you even sent them back. This was clearly a provocation. Not to mention the rank 3 Long family. No matter who it was, they would not be able to tolerate this. Longao and the others had never thought that Longao would do such a thing. It seemed that Longao was going to officially go against the level 3 Long family. Long family, main hall. Aoer, are you really going? Grandfather, this battle is unavoidable. Moreover, my cultivation has already reached the peak earthly venerable rank. I need pressure to break through. I hope that Long Chun won't disappoint me in this battle. I want to use his pressure to break through to the heavenly venerable rank. Longao took a deep look at his grandson. Since he had already said so much, Longao did not continue to persuade him. For the rest of the time, Longao devoted himself to cultivation. Long Fu had already refined all of Su Qin's power. He gave most of it to Longao's family and kept the rest for himself. According to Long Fu, if Longao could absorb all of Su Qin's soul power, it would be of great help to break through to the heavenly venerable rank. But now, with only half of the power, one could imagine how much help it would be. Everything was calm. Ever since Long Qian had challenged Longao and Longao had accepted the challenge, no matter if it was the third-rank Long family or the Imperial City, they had completely ceased their activities and did not continue to find trouble with the Dragon Sect and Longao. From this, it could be seen how high Long Qin's position in the spirit domain of the 9 states was. Just as Longao was about to head to Sky Mountain, he inadvertently received a piece of news about the person who had almost killed him. It turned out that the person who had leaked the spiritual stone was Mo, who ranked first on the 100 battle ranking, a peak human king expert. Longao's principle was very simple. If others did not offend him, he would not offend them. If others offended him, he would pay them back double. Because of this, Longao sent out a large number of disciples to look for Mo. Finally, he found Mo in a town in Star Cloud Kingdom. Looking at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him, Mo's face was very ugly. According to various legends, he was not confident that he could defeat the young man. Could he be a match for a killer who could kill 3 supreme masters and slaughter the Blood Sea sect? Longao waved his hand. He did not even want to listen to Mo's nonsense. He said directly, considering that you are the first on the 100 battle ranking list, I will give you a chance to kill yourself. This is your mistake, and it is unforgivable. Hearing this, Mo's face became even more ugly. He suddenly said, Longao, my master is from the Serene Hades Mansion. Do you want to provoke the Serene Hades Mansion? Serene Hades Mansion? Longao was familiar with the Serene Hades Mansion. There were 4 overlords in the spirit realm of the 9 states. They were the East Royal City, the Long family in the west, the Serene Hades Mansion in the south, and the Ethereal Palace in the north. It was not hard to imagine what kind of existence the Serene Hades Mansion was. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Mo was threatening him with the Serene Hades Mansion. If it were someone else, Mo would definitely succeed. However, he had found the wrong person to threaten Longao. Would a person who dared to fight against the Imperial City and the Long family be afraid of Mo's threat? Serene Hades Mansion? Mo did not know what Longao was thinking. He thought that Longao was really afraid. He suddenly laughed and said, Longao, you have already offended the Long family and the Imperial City. If you offend the Serene Hades Mansion, think about it. Not to mention your family first. As if afraid that Longao would kill him, Mo continued, among the 4 overlords, the Serene Hades Mansion is the cruelest. If you dare to provoke the Serene Hades Mansion, you and your family will die without a burial place. Excuse me, are you done? For a moment, Mo did not react. He subconsciously asked, what do you mean? My meaning is simple. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. As for the Serene Hades Mansion, just like you said, I have already offended the Long family and the Imperial City. Offending the Serene Hades Mansion doesn't seem to be a big deal. What do you think? Mo seemed to have guessed something. He was startled and did not dare to continue talking nonsense. After all, the threat of the Serene Hades Mansion was not enough to scare Qin Haodong. In this case, when would he run if not now? Longao's mouth curved into a cold smile. He took a step forward and came to Mo's side. Looking at Longao, who was like a ghost, Heimo was completely scared out of his wits. As a super figure who ranked first on the 100 battle ranking list, at this moment, Heimo was like a frightened little girl. His appearance could not be more ridiculous. Longao, you can't kill me. My master will not let you go. Longao was very depressed. Things had already come to this point. He wondered why Heimo was still threatening him. Did Heimo really think that he was afraid of the serene Hades mansion and did not dare to kill him? Heimo did not continue listening. With Longao's current strength, killing Heimo was a piece of cake. Chapter 360. After killing Heimo, Longao's expression turned serious. Regardless of whether Heimo was telling the truth or not, Longao knew that he had a grudge with the Imperial City and the third-grade Long family. As for the Nether Mansion, since he had already offended the Imperial City and the third-grade Long family, offending the Nether Mansion was nothing. Shrugging his shoulders, Longao said coldly, "Demon, why are you always following me? What is the meaning of this?" At this moment, Long Jing's figure suddenly appeared. However, Longao knew that the person standing in front of him was not the real Long Jing, but the demon. Hee, boy, the Long family has the fire Qilin, so I can't deal with you. Now that you have left, do you still think you can escape from my grasp? You can try. Hearing this, the demon's expression turned serious. He never thought that he would be so tough. Could it be that he had something to rely on? No matter what, Longao had too many secrets. It was better to be safe than sorry. If Longao really had something to rely on, wouldn't he suffer a great loss? Suddenly, the demon laughed and waved his hand. He sneered, "Boy, you don't have to scare me here. You are not qualified to talk to me like this." Without waiting for the evil demon to finish speaking, a terrifying heaven and earth aura suddenly erupted from Longao's body, directly enveloping the evil demon, and began to attack fiercely, wave after wave, not giving the evil demon a chance to breathe. Qi of heaven and earth. Feeling the qi of heaven and earth, the demon's expression changed. He also released the qi of heaven and earth and suppressed Longao's qi of heaven and earth. Longao's eyes narrowed. He also did not expect the demon to have the qi of heaven and earth. This in itself showed how difficult it was for the demon. "Longao, tell me, how did you get the qi of heaven and earth?" "Why should I tell you?" "Ha ha ha, Longao, you really did not disappoint me. With your cultivation, you have already condensed the qi of heaven and earth. I can say that as long as you continue to grow, Nirvana rebirth will not be a problem." Nirvana rebirth? Could it be that Nirvana rebirth was an even higher existence than the Nihility realm? Longao had always believed that there were higher existences above the Nihility realm. Evil demon, what is Nirvana rebirth? Nirvana rebirth. With your current strength, you don't have the qualifications to pry into Nirvana rebirth. I'll say it again. As long as you acknowledge me as your master, I can shorten the time you need by 10 times. How about it? Such a temptation could be said to be extremely great. It had to be known that the evil demon was an expert among experts. Once he became a disciple of the evil demon, it was easy to imagine how many benefits there would be. But would Longao agree? Evil demon, there are many talented people in the world. I'm puzzled. Why do you keep bothering me? Leave Longjing's body, and our grudges will be written off. How about that? Heh, what you said sounds good. All right, since you're unwilling to acknowledge me as your master, then hand over the dragon seal and the little fellow. From now on, I won't bother you anymore. How about it? It was this sentence again. Firstly, it was impossible for Longao to acknowledge the evil demon as his master. Secondly, it was impossible for Longao to hand over the dragon seal and the little fellow. In that case, there was only one solution, and that was to shed all pretense of cordiality with the evil demon. Longao, you don't have to worry. I have something important to do during this period of time. Once I'm done, I'll come back to look for you. I hope you won't disappoint me then. Heh. The evil demon turned around and left. Longao did not chase after him. This was not to say that Longao was afraid of the evil demon. It was because Longjing's soul was occupied by the evil demon, If he were to forcefully attack, he was afraid that he would hurt Longjing. Longao had already thought of using a soul attack earlier, but in the end, he chose to give up. Because if he were to use a soul attack, even if he were to successfully attack the evil demon, what would happen to Longjing? Looking coldly at the evil demon that had already disappeared, Longao still did not know how strong the evil demon was. But he was sure of one thing, and that was that the evil demon's strength was not simple. After all, being able to possess the chi of heaven and earth had already explained everything. Longao knew very well in his heart that with his current strength, it was impossible for him to be a match for the evil demon. Choosing to meet force with force like this would only be counterproductive. After all, in addition to dealing with the evil demon, he also had to protect Longjing's soul from being injured. Ghost King's sect. Huafon's sudden arrival gave Aotian a fright. After all, the imperial city was unreasonable. They killed people without any hesitation. His grandfather was an example. Could it be that the imperial city was going to play some tricks again? Senior Huafon, I wonder what brings you here this time? Huafon seemed to be very happy. He smiled and said, "You did well. Aoshue has agreed to marry my young master. From now on, you and the Ghost King sect are people of the imperial city." Hearing this, although Aotian was pleasantly surprised, he was more or less sad. In any case, the reason why he and the Ghost King sect could become people of the imperial city was 100% because of Aoshue. Without Aoshue, no one knew how the imperial city would deal with the Ghost King sect. What's wrong? Are you unhappy? I wouldn't dare. Huafon, I'm just thinking that the Longao will definitely not let Aoshue and young master get married. Back then, the Bloodsea sect. Waving his hand, before Aotian could finish speaking, Huafon said, "How can the Bloodsea sect compare to the imperial city? The Longao slaughtered the Bloodsea sect back then because he was lucky. Aoshue has been in the imperial city for so long, but the Longao didn't go there." Aotian was very confused about this point. According to the Longao's character and the feeling between the two, the Longao wouldn't wait for so long. Could it be that the Longao really chose to give up on Aoshue? If that was the case, the Longao wouldn't have slaughtered the Bloodsea sect. Aotian didn't know why, but he had a feeling that the Longao wouldn't let this go. Sooner or later, he would go to the imperial city. As if he could see what Aotian was thinking, Huafan suddenly laughed and said sarcastically, "It's just a small Longao, don't worry." Aotian ruthlessly despised him. He knew that Huafan didn't dare to go to the dragon sect alone. After all, how could Huafan dare to go to the dragon sect alone? He would only talk big here. Aotian was very conflicted. On the one hand, he hoped that the Longao would go to the imperial city to rescue his daughter, so that the Ghost King sect would be attached to the dragon sect, but he was really unwilling to do so. On the other hand, he didn't want the Longao to go to the imperial city. After all, he knew very well what it meant to be attached to the imperial city. At this moment, "Are you Huafan? Are you the one who took away Aoshue?" Even before he arrived, his voice could already be heard. Hearing this voice, Aotian's expression changed while Huafan was confused. Chapter 361. Longao. Hearing this voice, although Aotian was unwilling to admit it, he knew that Longao had indeed come. He was in big trouble. Although he didn't know what realm Longao's strength had reached, being able to kill 10 celestial masters and 1 great sovereign, such an achievement was at least impossible for him. If he was unlucky and Longao really killed Huafan, how would Ghost King sect explain it to the imperial city? Looking at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him, with long red hair and 2 red eyebrows, Huafan had already guessed who Longao was, although he had never seen him before. With a sneer, Huafan said mockingly, "So you're Longao. You really don't know what's good for you. Senior Huafan, why don't you leave first?" Slap. Hearing this, Huafan directly slapped Aotian. He was no fool, so he naturally knew what Aotian meant. He was a dignified celestial venerable of the imperial city, so how could he not be a match for a mere earthly venerable? "Get out of my way." Although he was angry, Aotian dared not say anything. Just now, He was worried that Longao would kill Huafan and Ghost King sect wouldn't be able to explain it to the Imperial City. Now, Aotion hoped that Longao would really kill Huafan. As the master of Ghost King sect, Aotion had never been slapped. Longao, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He didn't take Huafan seriously at all. Before going to Sky Mountain, Longao planned to come to Ghost King sect to talk about the problem between him and Aoshue. In any case, he really didn't dare to let Aoshue stay in Ghost King sect. Who knew what would happen? Because of this, Longao never expected that he would meet Huafan, the person he hated the most, as soon as he entered Ghost King sect. If Huafan hadn't taken Aoshue away, he wouldn't have to worry about her. Fortunately, Aoshue was fine. If something had happened to her, he would have cut Huafan into pieces. When enemies met, their eyes burned with hatred. Huafan, don't even think about leaving Ghost King sect today. Ha 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 ha. Hearing those words, Huafan suddenly raised his head and laughed loudly, as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. After all, the other party was only an insignificant earthly venerate, yet he was so arrogant. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed that there was such an arrogant person in the world. Longao, I'm really suspicious. Is there something wrong with your head? Longao snorted coldly and didn't say anything. Huafan took out the Imperial City Medallion and coldly said, Imperial City Medallion, why aren't you kneeling? Longao still didn't speak. He only looked at this person with contempt. He even wondered if this person was really an Empyrean. Seeing Longao ignore him like this, Huafan was furious. Just as he was about to attack, Longao rushed up like an arrow. Whether he won or lost this battle, he had lost. Fire Lotus incinerate the sky. Huafan's strongest martial skill was Fire Lotus incinerate the sky. Under normal circumstances, Huafan wouldn't use this martial skill at all because it was very harmful to the soul. But now, he had to use it in order to end the battle quickly. Longao sneered and directly used heaven and earth's sorrow. With Longao as the center, he crazily absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy. Then, a huge tornado suddenly appeared. As the Imperial City's law enforcement Empyrean, Huafan certainly knew what the aura released by Longao meant. He almost cried out in surprise. Huafan couldn't figure out how Longao could condense the aura of heaven and earth. Could it be Nirvana rebirth? Impossible. Huafan immediately rejected the idea. If Lin Fan was Nirvana rebirth, would he still be standing here alive? Since it wasn't Nirvana rebirth, how could Lin Fan release the aura of heaven and earth? Huafan was completely confused. He didn't know how Longao did it. No matter what, Longao still released the aura of heaven and earth. Huafan didn't dare to be careless. However, before Huafan could dodge, he was swallowed by Longao's sorrow of heaven and earth and swept into the tornado. Seeing this, everyone was shocked, including Aotion. Could Longao really defeat Huafan? If that was the case, wouldn't Longao be able to sweep away Empyreans? What terrifying strength! After all, Longao couldn't even defeat an earthly venerable back then. But now, he could kill an Empyrean. P.S. Yesterday's 10 chapters have all been updated. Will be updated immediately. Chapter 362. Inside the Tornado. Not giving Huafan any chance, Longao and Longchong attacked Huafan crazily. Under normal circumstances, how could the two of them be Huafan's opponent? But now, Huafan was suppressed by the aura of heaven and earth. Even his strength and speed were restricted. In this way, Huafan was forced to retreat step by step. Seizing the opportunity, Longao punched Huafan's head and used a soul attack. Under the double attack, Huafan couldn't resist at all. With a groan, his entire body fell down. Longao was overjoyed in his heart. He directly sent Huafan's soul into the dragon seal space and then ruthlessly kicked the corpse out. Huafan was kicked out, and his body collided with the ground with a loud bang. Looking at the corpse that was kicked down, everyone was a little dumbfounded. Until now, no one seemed to have reacted. Did Longao really kill Huafan? Everyone knew that Huafan was the imperial city's law enforcement celestial. He was powerful. They thought that in the battle between Huafan and Longao had a higher chance of losing. But the result? Clap, clap. Seeing Longao fall from the sky, everyone applauded and cheered. After all, Longao was the first loser who dared to fight against the four major forces. Such a loser could almost become the idol of all loser. Longao, you're in big trouble. How could Longao not know the meaning of Aotion's words? Smiling, Longao said, I've brought Aoshue back to the Long family. From now on, Aoshue will not return to the Ghost King sect because you're not worthy of being a father. Also, let me tell you something. Don't go too far. If it weren't for Aoshue's face, you would already be dead. Longao wasn't a fool. Anyone who was betrayed again and again would be angry. In the end, Longao was still giving face to Aoshue. Otherwise, with Longao's current strength, killing the Ghost King would be a piece of cake. Watching the figure gradually disappear into the distance, Proud Heaven's expression changed again and again. For a moment, the Ghost King didn't know what to do. Aotion knew very well that Huafan had died in his hands. Even if he knew that it was not done by the Ghost King sect, the Imperial City would never let the Ghost King sect go. If he continued to stay, only death would await him. Since he could not submit to the Imperial City, he could only rely on the Dragon sect. No matter how unwilling he was in his heart, Proud Heaven knew that there was no other way other than relying on the Dragon sect. Leaving the Ghost King sect, Longao's mood was very heavy. No matter what happened, Proud Heaven would always be Aoshue's father. This was something that could never be changed. Was he supposed to just sit by and do nothing? It was precisely because of this that Longao did not leave. He was waiting. He had full confidence that the Ghost King would definitely catch up. As expected, Longao, you win. Without mocking or looking down on him, Longao said indifferently, I'll say it again. For Aoshue's sake, the grudge between you and me is written off. But I still want to tell you that this is the last time. My patience is limited. Don't try to challenge me. Otherwise, I won't give you any face. Looking at the young man in front of him, Proud Heaven sighed deeply in his heart. If it was in the past, would Longao dare to speak to him like this? But Proud Heaven knew very well that Longao was no longer the same as before. If the Ghost King sect provoked a killing god who dared to go against the Imperial City and the third-rank Long family, wouldn't it be courting death? What's more, now that Huafan had died in the Ghost King sect, the Imperial City would definitely not let it go. If the Ghost King sect could not rely on the Dragon sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Ghost King sect can rely on the Dragon sect in the future. Other than important matters, the Dragon sect will not interfere in other matters. The Ghost King sect and the Sound of Thunder sect had the same interest. Although both of them had joined the Dragon sect, they were still independent existences. However, when the Dragon sect encountered important matters or decisions, the Sound of Thunder sect and the Ghost King sect had to listen. Although he was unwilling to accept it, Proud Heaven knew that he had no other choice. In the end, the Ghost King Aotion chose to rely on the Dragon sect. Longao killed Huafan and treated him the same as a third rank. He directly sent Huafan's corpse back to the Imperial City. In the Imperial City, he looked at the corpse on the ground. Of course, he knew who did it. He punched the wall and the entire hall shook. He's face was extremely gloomy. Longao, you're courting death. In the end, he endured it. The reason was simple. The battle between Longchun and Longao was about to begin. If the Imperial City chose to deal with Longao at this time, Longchun would definitely not agree. The Imperial City was not afraid of the third-rank Long family, but they were very wary of Longchun. The reason was simple. Longchun was ranked 100 on the Dragon ranking. Anyone who entered the Dragon ranking was highly valued by the Long family. Even if the Imperial City was given 10,000 guts, they would definitely not dare to provoke the Long family. Longao, I will slowly settle this debt with you. I hope you won't die in the hands of Longchen. The news of Longao provoking the third-rank Long family and the Imperial City had already reached the ears of the Nether Mansion and Ethereal Palace. The two forces were very happy. After all, there was someone who could restrain them. They could take the time to watch the fight from the other side and reap the benefits when the time came. In the 9-state spirit domain, there were 4 forces: Eastern Imperial City, Western Third-Rank Long Family, Southern Nether Mansion, and Northern Ethereal Palace. The battle between Longchen and Longao would begin tomorrow. Tonight, there was already a sea of people around the Heavenly Mountain. Everyone was looking forward to this battle, including the Imperial City, Nether Mansion, and Ethereal Palace. Longchen, the strongest of the third-rank Long family, a world king martial artist, ranked 100 on the dragon ranking. Longao, the strongest of the 6th-rank Long family, an earth venerable martial artist, ranked first on both the Wind Cloud ranking and 100 battle ranking. According to this situation, there was almost no comparison between the two. If it was an ordinary person, everyone would be 100% sure that Longchen would defeat Longao. But now, the one fighting Longchen was Longao, a madman who liked to counterattack. It was because of this that everyone was looking forward to Longao's counterattack. If he could defeat Longchen, then Longao could completely replace Longchen's position and rank 100 on the dragon ranking. At that time, he would be like a carp leaping over the dragon gate, soaring to the heavens. Longao also knew this. If he could defeat Longchen and rank 100 on the dragon ranking, then not to mention the 3rd-rank Long family, even the 2nd-rank and 1st-rank Long family wouldn't find trouble with him. This battle had shaken the entire 9 provinces. At dusk, just as everyone was anxiously waiting, 2 figures shot over from the left and right. They ignored everyone as Longchen and Longao shot towards the summit of the Heavenly Mountain. This battle was controlled by the 4 great forces. Only a few people could go up to watch the battle. The rest were not allowed. Chapter 363. At the peak of Heavenly Mountain. The entire mountain was over 10,000 meters high. Standing at the peak, one could almost touch the clouds. The 4 great powers, East Royal City, West Rank 3 Long Family, South Nether Mansion, and North Ethereal Palace, were all present. Among them, the Imperial City Lord Duan He and the Rank 3 Long Family's Patriarch Long Maoan had gloomy expressions. After all, Long Ao's actions weren't as simple as a provocation. If Long Ao didn't die, where would the 2 great powers put their faces? Ever since the 4 great powers had dominated the 9 states, no one had dared to be so presumptuous. Brother Long, if Longchen loses in the battle with Long Ao, we can't let Long Ao leave here. Long Maoan cursed in his heart and snorted, Long Ao can't win. Long Maoan was very confident in his nephew. He was a world king martial artist, and he was aiming for the 100th place on the dragon ranking. If Long Ao could really defeat Longchen, then the rank 3 Long family could die. It's better to be safe than sorry. There's no what if. Duan He, this matter is between my Long family and Long Ao. It has nothing to do with the Imperial City. You better not interfere, otherwise don't blame me for being ruthless. Long Maoan, you should know that Long Ao is also an enemy of the Imperial City. If your Long family doesn't have the confidence, then don't blame the Imperial City for interfering. Looking at Duan He leaving, Long Maoan's expression became colder. He clenched his fists. Because of Long Ao's appearance, the rank 3 Long family had lost all their face. So, Long Chun had to win this battle. At the peak of Heavenly Mountain, Long Ao and Long Chun stood face to face. Dressed in black, his fiery red hair fluttered in the wind. Long Ao looked like a god of war. Even the 4 great master had to admit that Long Ao was a rare super genius. Long Ao, I admire you. Long Ao didn't say anything. He just stood there quietly. If you were born into a good family, I believe that your current achievements would be above mine. Although I don't want to admit it, I know very well that your talent is enough to surpass your peers. Long Ao still didn't say anything and just stood there quietly. I am ranked 100th on the Dragon Decree. As a world king martial artist, if I were to fight with you like this, even if I were to defeat you, I believe that you wouldn't be convinced, nor would the people of the world. I will not tarnish the Dragon Decree, nor will I tarnish myself. Hearing this, Long Ao seemed a little curious. He didn't know what Long Chun wanted to do. Long Ao, I'll use a secret technique to seal my strength and forcefully lower my realm to peak earthly venerable rank. We'll have a fair fight. If you win, you'll be ranked 100th on the dragon leaderboard. If you lose, it's very simple. You'll have to kneel in front of the Long family in front of everyone, admit your mistake, and break your own arms. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, Longao laughed crazily. Long Chun, I admire you for forcefully lowering your realm to have a fair fight with me, but you are a bit too shameless. If I win against you, I can replace you to be ranked 100th on the dragon ranking, but if I lose, I have to break my own arms. Do you think this is fair? What do you want? It's very simple. If you win, I, Longao, will immediately kill myself. But if you lose, I don't need you to kill yourself or break your own arms. The Long family will announce to the world that they'll publicly apologize to me. How about that? His face was a little gloomy, but he was very confident in his own strength. Long Chun turned to look at Long Morwen in the distance. Although he had a high status in the Long family, he wasn't the head of the family. Such an important matter had to be decided by the head of the family. He had no right to overstep his position. At this moment, Long Morwen's face was very ugly. Originally, Long Morwen was very confident. With Long Chin's strength, killing Long Ao would be very easy. But Long Chun had to care about the dragon decree and his reputation, so he forcefully suppressed his own realm. For some reason, Long Morwen was a little worried. No matter what, the family had sent 10 celestial lords and 1 great sovereign. All of them had died at the hands of this person. What if Long Chun lost? He didn't dare to imagine, but Long Morwen knew very well that things had already come to this point. If he backed down, he would definitely be laughed at by the world. It was because of this that Long Morwen nodded in agreement. Long Ao, I agree. I hope you won't disappoint me. I hope you won't disappoint me as well. Long Ao and Long Chun didn't say anything else. The two of them stared at each other. Both of them exuded powerful auras. Before they started fighting, their auras had already collided. Long Ao, I'm a dragon martial artist. No matter when, I'll summon my partner. I heard that you're a dragon martial artist too. Please. Of course, Long Ao knew what Long Chin meant. He nodded. Then, 2 dragon roars resounded between heaven and earth. A golden dragon and a pure black dragon each appeared in mid-air. Dragon martial artists. 2 dragon martial artists. Everyone was looking forward to it. After all, Long Chin's realm had been forcefully lowered to peak earthly venerable, which was exactly the same as Long Ao's. Even the 2 dragons' realms were very different, so it was hard to tell who would win. It was because of this that everyone was looking forward to it. Master, if Long Ao wins by luck, what should we do? Long Morwen obviously knew what Long Yin meant. He said coldly, if that's the case, Long Ao will definitely die. Long Morwen's meaning was very clear. No matter what happened today, Long Ao wouldn't leave this place alive. After all, the Elder's strength alone wasn't something Long Ao could compete with. Long Morwen and Long Yin knew very well that if Long Chun didn't forcefully suppress his realm, Long Ao wouldn't be Long Chin's match with his strength alone. However, the people on the dragon leaderboard couldn't be doubted. If Long Chun didn't forcefully suppress his realm, they believed that even if he defeated Long Ao, the world wouldn't be convinced. The 2 dragons flew in the air. Long Chong was a mutated dragon, so his aura was far stronger than the golden dragons. However, the golden dragon was considered one of the stronger races among the dragon clan. However, the battle had already begun. It was impossible for the golden dragon to retreat. Before Long Ao and Long Chun could fight, the 2 dragons had already started fighting. A battle between dragons was rarely seen in 100 years. Of course, no one was willing to miss this opportunity. Although the 4 forces didn't allow ordinary people to reach the peak of Sky Mountain, everyone had come from afar to watch the battle. Now that they were stuck at the bottom, no one was willing and no one was willing. Because of this, everyone rushed to the peak of Sky Mountain. Even the 4 forces couldn't stop them. In the end, they could only allow anyone to go up. Now, the peak of Sky Mountain was bustling. Chapter 364. Everyone watched in shock as the two huge dragons fought in the nine heavens. It was a rare sight to see a battle between dragon warriors. The Golden Dragon and Long Chong were already engaged in a fierce battle. Since the two dragons were of the same rank, Long Chong had the upper hand. Long Ao and Long Chun did not hesitate. Both of them moved and started fighting in the blink of an eye. They exchanged punches and kicks. It looked ordinary, but it was actually very dangerous. Long Ao smashed Long Chun with his Hell Tiger arm. With desolate tyrant body, Long Ao simply ignored Long Chin's punches and kicks. Just like that, Long Chun couldn't hold on for more than 10 rounds in the first round of close combat. The purple dragon's sword appeared like a purple dragon and was as fast as lightning. Long Ao was shocked. He did not dare to be careless. The bloodthirsty broadsword appeared in his hands, and he slashed out. The sword and the broadsword collided. Sword radiance and broadsword radiance shot out in all directions. Everyone around them retreated in shock. The weaker warriors were killed by the collision of the sword radiance and the broadsword radiance. Everyone retreated far away when they saw this. Although they wanted to watch the battle from a close distance, their lives were still the most important. Long Ao and Long Chun were both at the peak of the earthly venerable rank. In a situation where they were at the same level, Long Ao was not afraid of anyone. However, in Long Ao's heart, he still admired Long Chun. No matter what kind of person he was, his spirit as a martial artist was worthy of respect. Forcefully suppressing one's cultivation level. How many people could do this? The 8 styles of bloodthirsty. The first style was the underworld 9 consecutive strikes. The second style was the heart-devouring icebound. The third style was the sea of flames. The fourth style was the apocalyptic broadsword radiance. The fifth style was the myriad bones devouring soul. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Long Ao used the 6th style of the 8 styles of bloodthirsty. It was the meteorite explosion. The broadsword radiance slashed toward Long Chun with a terrifying shriek. Long Ao took the opportunity and rushed to Long Chin's left side as fast as he could. He silently used the destruction seal. However, what surprised Long Ao was that the seal of destruction was unable to invade the other party's body, let alone corrode the other party's soul. However, Long Ao wasn't discouraged. If the annihilation seal didn't work, then he would use the God-sealing pearl and God-punishing mirror. The God-sealing pearl and the God-punishing mirror appeared at the same time. The two auras directly enveloped Long Chun. Before Long Chun could react, he discovered that his body had been locked. What was even more unbelievable was that he discovered that the flow of time around him was actually changing. What the hell is going on? Long Chun didn't dare to be careless. It was only at this moment that Long Chun put away his contempt and used all his strength to break the lock. However, it was still too late. Long Ao's body had already arrived in front of Long Chin. His nether tiger arm smashed out without a sound, smashing right into Long Chin's left shoulder. With a groan, Long Chun was startled and hastily retreated. Long Ao didn't follow up with another attack. Instead, he stopped and said with a sneer, "If you want, we can go again." Although Long Chun didn't want to admit it, he knew that he had already lost. Long Ao was already invincible among those of the same level. Unless Long Chun could increase his cultivation level, it would be extremely difficult to defeat him. Long Ao, I have to admit that you are really powerful. If you can withstand this move of mine, you win. Hearing this, Long Ao immediately became alert. 9 Transformation Golden Technique. The 9 Transformation Golden Technique was a super martial skill that Long Chun had obtained from the Golden Dragon when he signed a contract with it. The 9 Transformation Golden Technique could allow Long Chin's physical body to continuously strengthen. After 9 transformations, one could imagine the defensive power of his physical body. However, with Long Chin's current strength, he could only reach the 4th transformation. That was already super terrifying. Long Ao was also shocked. No, Long Ao was very confident in his desolate tyrant body. Immediately after, the two of them began to fight in close combat. One of them punched, the other punched. Neither of them dodged and took each other's punches head-on. Looking at the fierce collision between the two of them, everyone was shocked. They had to admit that the defensive power of the two of them was extremely terrifying. If it was someone else, they would have been smashed to death. Originally, Long Chun thought that he would definitely win after using the 9 transformation golden technique. However, as they continued to clash, Long Chun was shocked to find that the defensive power of his opponent's physical body was even stronger than his. Although the Nether Tiger arm wasn't a match for the Divine Dragon arm, it was still very powerful. If Long Chun could reach the 6th transformation, he might be able to withstand the Nether Tiger arm. Above the 9 heavens. However, right now, the battle between the giant golden dragon and Long Chong was nearing its end. Dragon roars sounded one after another, constantly reverberating between heaven and earth. The giant golden dragon's realm was restricted. Long Chong seized the opportunity to beat him up. Long Chong wasn't like Longao. He was even wilder. He didn't care if his opponent's realm was restricted or not. Since he had seized the opportunity, he was going to beat the bastard to death. Just like that, under Long Chong's ferocious attacks, the giant golden dragon gradually couldn't resist and was smashed to the ground from the 9th heaven. However, Long Chong still refused to let the giant golden dragon go. The dragon's roar resounded between heaven and earth. Long Chong kicked the giant golden dragon fiercely. At this rate, the giant golden dragon would be beaten to death sooner or later. Probably no one would have thought of this. Everyone swallowed their saliva. The giant black dragon was too domineering. Like master, like partner, Longao was already very domineering. Who would have thought that Longao's dragon partner would be even more domineering? Longao, stop. I've lost. Long Chun sighed deeply and forced Longao back with a punch. Although he was unwilling to admit it, Long Chun knew that unless he recovered to his peak, he wouldn't be a match for Longao at the same level. Not only him, but even his partner, the giant golden dragon, wouldn't be a match for Longao. Since that was the case, if he didn't admit defeat, his partner would be beaten to death. In the end, he would still have to admit defeat. Since that was the case, why would he do that? Lost? Long Chun lost? Looking at Long Chun and the giant golden dragon who admitted defeat, everyone burst into cheers. Longao had defeated Long Chun once again. What did this mean? However, it had to be known that Long Chun was ranked 100th on the dragon rankings. Longao had defeated him and directly replaced Long Chun's position on the dragon rankings. In this way, Longao could be said to have soared into the sky. Longao almost fell. Long Chun's defeat was too big of a blow for him. He couldn't believe that Long Chun would lose to Longao. If that was the case, wouldn't the entire Long family lose the only one on the dragon ranking, Long Chun? Chapter 365. Longao, I've lost. Longao waved his hand and said, Long Chun, you haven't lost. You and I are tied. Although we are enemies, I still admire you. If it weren't for you limiting your own boundary, I wouldn't have been your match. Long Chun wanted to say something, but Longao continued, strictly speaking, you and I have both won. But it can also be said that we have both lost. After Longao said this, he turned around and quickly left. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. We have both lost, but it can also be said that we have both won? What did that mean? No one understood what Longao's words meant. But since Longao said this, everyone believed that the two of them had tied. Long Chun stared at Longao as he gradually left. He didn't speak. He certainly knew what Longao meant. Strictly speaking, he hadn't lost. But Long Chun knew that Longao's talent and potential were far from what he could compare with. Long Chun might not be his match now, but what about in the future? He believed that it wouldn't be long before Longao's strength caught up to his own. I'll wait for you. After saying this, Long Chun also turned and left. It was unknown whether or not Longao, who had already left, had heard Long Chun's words. He turned around and raised his head to look at the endless void in the distance. With a resolute expression, he said, One day, I will truly defeat you. Longao knew that although he had defeated Long Chun, he hadn't truly defeated him. But it had to be known that Long Chun wasn't at the peak of the earthly exalt realm, but at the World King realm. If Long Chun used his full strength, Would Lin Ming be able to resist him? Longao was well aware that unless his cultivation reached the World King realm, it would be difficult to resist Long Chen. It was precisely because of this that Longao firmly told himself in his heart that one day, he would defeat Long Chen fair and square and be ranked on the dragon leaderboard fair and square. Longao, we meet again. Looking at the two people who suddenly walked out in front of him, Long Ao's face turned cold. Long Amo and Long Yin were the patriarch and elder of the Long family respectively. It could be said that both of them were the strongest in the rank 3 Long family. If Long Chun was a world king martial artist, then wouldn't Long Morwan and Long Yin be world emperor martial artists? In the 8 realms of nothingness, the world emperor was a peak existence. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Long Ao was always vigilant, ready to fight at any time. But Long Ao knew that this time, the chances of him escaping were very small. Brother Long, why don't you hand Long Ao over to me? I'll owe you a favor. What do you think? Seeing Duan He suddenly appear, Long Morwen and Long Yan's complexions turned cold. Long Morwen humphed and said, Duan He, this is a grudge between me and Long Ao. What qualifications do you have to interfere? You'd best get out of my way. It was impossible for Long Morwen to let Long Ao go. 10 Empyreans and a great sovereign had been killed, and their corpses had been returned untouched. If the Long family couldn't take back this humiliation, then what face would they have left in the future? Duanhe's complexion also became extremely ugly. But because of the strength and background of the rank 3 Long family, he could only forcefully endure this. Uncle, Long Chun, you've worked hard this time. Return to the family first. I'll come find you later. Shaking his head, Long Chun said, Uncle, I have indeed lost the agreement with Long Ao just now. No matter what the reason is, I hope that Uncle can honor the agreement and announce to the world that the grudge between the Long family and Long Ao is written off. As for Long Ao, I hope that you won't try to deal with him again. Impossible. Shameless. Ignoring Long Ao's mockery, Long Morwen suddenly said, Long Ao became a martial dragon without permission. According to the rules of the Long family, Long Ao must be dealt with by the Long family. Am I right, Long Ao? Yes, I am a martial dragon, but what does it have to do with you? Do you have nothing better to do? Long Morwen and the others didn't seem to have expected Long Ao to say this. At first, they were stunned. Then they became furious and said, Long Chun, you heard it now. Long Ao has completely ignored the rules of the Long family. Even if he killed him, it wouldn't be too much. Long Morwen, I want to ask, is this rule a Long family rule or a rank 3 Long family rule? Of course it's a Long family rule. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Morwen's heart skipped a beat. He felt that he had been tricked. Ha ha ha, so it's a Long family rule. I thought it was a rank 3 Long family rule. In that case, even if I'm a martial dragon, what does it have to do with your Long family? Even if you want to punish me, it's a Long family matter. Long Morwen was speechless because that was indeed the case. However, Long Morwen was still unwilling to give up. If he let Long Ao go, the rank 3 Long family would lose all face. I have nothing to say. Then I'll leave first. Uncle. Long Morwen looked deeply at Long Chun and thought for a while. Then he suddenly said, All right, I'll temporarily write off the grudge between us for Long Chen's sake. However, the grudge between you and the Imperial City is not something I can interfere with. Long Morwen's meaning was very clear. We don't care, but whether the Imperial City wants to kill you or not has nothing to do with us. Long Ao, you're on your own. After saying that, Long Morwen left with Long Yin and Long Chun. In just a short while, they had disappeared without a trace. Long Ao, you're really arrogant. You actually dared to kill the Imperial City's law enforcement heavenly venerables. How are you going to explain this to me? Explain your sister. You're courting death. Without waiting for Duan He to make a move, his complexion had already changed greatly. He was so angry that he was trembling. He roared furiously, Long Ao, if you dare to harm a single hair on my son, I will definitely dismember your corpse into 10,000 pieces. It turned out that Long Ao had already summoned Duan Tianfeng's corpse slave. Duan Tianfeng was under Longao's control. In Duan He's eyes, there was no difference. Therefore, Duan Tianfeng believed that it was Longao who had captured his son. Duan He, I hope that the grudge between me and the imperial city will not implicate my family. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to see your son in the future. I hope you're on your own. Without giving Duan Tianfeng any chance to make a move, Longao left with Duan Tianfeng. At this moment, Duan He was furious to the extreme. Because of his anger, his entire body began to tremble. In the end, his rationality suppressed his impulse. No matter what, his son was in Longao's hands. If he acted rashly and accidentally hurt his son, he would regret it to death. Long Morwen and Duan He, who had already left, probably would never have thought that Longao would capture Duan He's son, Duan Tianfeng. If Long Morwen knew that Duan He couldn't kill Longao, he probably wouldn't have left so easily even if he was beaten to death. However, in this world, no one could guess everything, including Long Morwen. Chapter 366. The battle between Longao and Long Chun instantly spread throughout the 9 prefectures. Although Longao said that the battle was a draw, everyone knew that Longao won the battle. No one would ask if Long Chun had limited his cultivation. Everyone only cared about the result. Therefore, the news of Longao defeating Long Chun caused a huge commotion in the 9 prefectures. Under normal circumstances, Longao could replace Long Chun and become the 100th on the dragon ranking after killing Long Chun. However, just as Longao thought, he did not defeat Long Chun openly. If Long Chun did not limit his cultivation, would he still be able to defeat Long Chun? Because of this, the dragon ranking did not recognize Longao and still recognized Long Chun as the 100th. Although Longao did not successfully enter the dragon ranking, in everyone's eyes, he had successfully made a comeback. After this battle, Longao's reputation in the 9 prefectures rose again. Longao Peak, Long family's main hall. Longao's triumphant return was the best news for the Long family because no one thought that Longao would win this battle. However, what was the result? Aoer, you defeated Long Chun this time. It seems that the rank 3 Long family will not let this matter rest. Longao nodded. How could he not know about his grandfather's worries? He said, "Grandfather, I did not defeat Long Chun in this battle. If he did not forcefully suppress his cultivation, I would not have been able to withstand 10 moves. This person is still quite a character. He will definitely become a great person in the future." Long Haosher seemed to be a little surprised, because in such a long time, Longao seemed to have never praised a person so highly. "Grandfather, as for the rank 3 Long family, as you said, they will not let this matter rest. Therefore, the family must hide and develop our strength as much as possible." "I understand. After this battle with Long Chun, are you going to the 9 prefectures mystery realm?" Longao nodded. He did not hide anything from his grandfather and said, "The mystery land of the 9 states is my opportunity. So no matter what happens, I have to go to the 9 serenities mystery land." Longao knew very well that the 9 continents mystery realm was an opportunity for him, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. According to Duan He, the 9 prefectures mystery territory was an extremely mysterious place in the 9 prefectures. It was a holy land for cultivators to cultivate. As long as one was lucky, any cultivator who entered would have a breakthrough in their cultivation once they came out. According to the ratio, 90% of the people who entered would be able to come out alive. The probability of this was very high. Longao's cultivation had already reached the peak earthly venerable rank. He was only 1 step away from officially breaking through to the heavenly venerable rank. But this seemingly simple step was actually extremely difficult. According to Long Fu, breaking through to the Empyrean level required an astronomical amount of strength. Spirit realm of the 9 states, in the southern region, there was an extremely remote valley. Inside the valley, there were dozens of masters from the 4 great influences standing guard. It was impossible to see that once someone entered the valley, they would suffer the fiercest attacks. The 4 great influences of the 9 states spirit realm, the Eastern Imperial City, the Western third-grade Long family, the Southern Nether Mansion, and the Northern Ethereal Palace, would each send 5 people to cultivate in the 9 prefectures Mystery Land every year. The 9 prefectures Mystery Land would automatically open once every year. Only martial artists below the World King level could enter. In other words, Long Chun had no chance of entering. Long Ao did not appear in the valley. Instead, he used Duan Tianfeng to quietly enter. Even the others did not suspect anything. Under normal circumstances, with Duan Tianfeng's talent and strength, he simply did not have the qualifications to enter the 9 prefectures Mystery Land to cultivate. But who told him to have a good father? Duan Tianfeng was the son of the Imperial City's city lord. Everyone knew that the Imperial City's city lord, Duan He, doted on his youngest son the most, to the point that he would do anything for him. A spot to enter the 9 prefectures Mystery Land was just child's play. Duan Tianfeng's reputation was extremely bad. Not to mention the other 3 great influences, even the other 4 great influences of the Imperial City were unwilling to approach Duan Tianfeng. It was as if they were afraid of being infected. Duan Tianfeng simply ignored everyone. At this moment, he was simply Long Ao. The 20 people of the 4 great influences quietly stood in the valley. At this time, there was a rumbling sound, and a milky white ball of light appeared on the cave walls. The 9 prefectures Mystery Land had opened. The 20 people were overjoyed and entered one by one. Long Ao used the dragon seal space to follow the corpse slave into the 9 prefectures Mystery Land. From start to finish, no one noticed anything wrong with Duan Tianfeng. As soon as Long Ao stepped into the 9 prefectures Mystery Land, he chose to leave by himself. No matter what, if he was discovered by others, it would be very troublesome. After all, it was easy to enter but difficult to leave. In the end, the 9 prefectures Mystery Land was an independent space. There were mountains, rivers, and trees. The sun hung high in the sky, and white clouds bloomed. After entering the 9 prefectures Mystery Land, Long Ao instantly understood why the 9 prefectures Mystery Land was a holy land for cultivation. The world energy here was 10 times more than outside. What kind of concept was this? Long Ao clearly knew that cultivating here for a month was equivalent to cultivating outside for a month. This kind of cultivation speed was simply too frightening. After entering the 9 prefectures Mystery Land, Long Ao didn't waste any time. According to Duan He, the 9 prefectures Mystery Land could only be opened for a month every year. If they couldn't leave, the 9 prefectures Mystery Land would launch an attack that no one could resist. After finding an extremely secluded place, Long Ao immediately entered a state of cultivation. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Long Ao could clearly sense that his cultivation was about to break through. It was as if there was only a piece of paper left. As long as he pierced through it, he would be able to break through to the Empyrean realm. At this moment, Long Ao was completely depressed. According to Long Fu, if he wanted to break through to the Empyrean realm at the fastest speed, he would need an enormous amount of power. As long as he could kill a world king and seize their soul to refine their power, he could use the world king's soul to break through to the Empyrean realm. In the dragon seal space, Long Fu, could it be that my desolate saint physique can only absorb power to break through, but not world energy? The world energy in the 9 prefectures Mystery Land was too abundant. It was 10 times more than the outside world. If he could use the world energy to break through, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Master, this is completely possible. It's just that it's difficult to break through by absorbing the world energy. However, the world energy here is very abundant. 1 month is enough for you to break through to the Empyrean realm. He was delighted. This time, he entered the 9 prefectures Mystery Land to break through to the Empyrean realm. Now that he heard that Long Fu could help him break through to the Empyrean realm in a month, how could Long Ao not be happy? Master, I've been sensing for the past 3 days. I found something very wrong. Chapter 367. Long Fu, what's going on? Long Ao was surprised. Ever since he had obtained the dragon seal space, he had rarely seen Long Fu so solemn. Could there be something wrong with the 9 continents' secret territory? Master, I have sensed it carefully. There is indeed the aura of a great emperor in this place. Moreover, it's the aura of a titled great emperor. If I'm not wrong, this should be the tomb of a great emperor. Great emperor? Titled great emperor? Longao didn't know what Long Fu was talking about. Could it be that great emperors and titled great emperors were existences above the void realm? Long Fu, what are the 10 stages of great emperor? Master, the 10 stages of great emperor are red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, black, white, and gold. Longao didn't say anything and listened quietly. Master, you're right. The 10 great sovereign realms are indeed above the void realm. They are the red great sovereign, orange great sovereign, yellow great sovereign, green great sovereign, cyan great sovereign, blue great sovereign, purple great sovereign, black great sovereign, white great sovereign, and gold great sovereign. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, black, white, gold. 10 stages of great emperor. Above the 10 stages of great emperor, one can be titled and become a titled great emperor. For example, the evil demon emperor. Evil demon emperor? Longao's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't wait to ask, Long Fu, do you mean that the evil demon is a titled great emperor? Seeing Long Fu nod, Longao finally knew the true strength of the evil demon. Titled great emperor. The evil demon was an invincible titled great emperor. Evil demon emperor. Since that was the case, didn't that mean that the fire Qilin was also in the great emperor realm? As if he had guessed what Longao wanted to ask, Long Fu nodded and said, Master, you guessed right. The fire Qilin and the evil demon are both in the titled great emperor realm. As expected, Longao could imagine how terrifying the fire Qilin and the evil demon's strength were. Master, the 8 stages of void realm is just the beginning of the martial Tao. Above them is the 8 stages of illusionary divine and the 10 stages of great emperor. Hence, you still have a long way to go. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao's words, his eyes narrowed as he was in disbelief. Above the illusionary divine realm, there was the 8th level of the illusionary divine realm. Above the 8th level of the illusionary divine realm, there was the 10th level of the emperor realm. If that was the case, Lin Fan's current strength was nothing. Long Fu had also said that Lin Fan had just touched the threshold of martial arts. Long Fu, can you sense where the great emperor's grave is? Long Fu shook his head and said, I can't sense it now. Give me a few more days. No problem. Longao left the dragon seal space with a heavy heart. He never thought that there was the 8 stages of illusionary divine, the 10 stages of great emperor, and the titled great emperor above the void realm. He always thought that even if there were stronger existences above the void realm, there wouldn't be many of them. Now, it seemed that he was still a frog at the bottom of a well. The 10 stages of great emperor, red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, black, white, gold, and finally, the titled great emperor. Wouldn't it be great if he could obtain the inheritance of a titled great emperor? While Long Fu was sensing the grave, Longao didn't give up on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He immediately sat down cross-legged and started cultivating quietly. 10 times the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This was such a good opportunity. With the help of Long Fu, Longao crazily absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth around him. The absorption speed was 10 times faster than usual. What kind of concept was this? Longao knew that as long as he persisted in absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he would be able to break through to the heavenly master realm within a month. Because of this, Longao didn't give up on any time, even if it was just a second. 7 days later. Master, I've already sensed the location of the great emperor's grave. However, I have to remind you that there are dangers everywhere in the grave. If you're not careful, you'll be in danger. However, dangers and opportunities coexist. This great emperor is a little different. There seems to be some good stuff in the grave. Opportunities and dangers coexist. You're right, Long Fu. I believe you know my character best. No matter what dangers there are in the great emperor's grave, I'll go in. Of course, Long Fu knew his master's character. Otherwise, he wouldn't have mentioned the great emperor's grave. The Nine Prefectures Mystery Land was indeed the tomb of a titled great emperor. Moreover, this great emperor wasn't simple. For so many years, many people had entered the Nine Prefectures Mystery Land, but none of them had discovered the great emperor's tomb. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, would it be possible for Longao to find the great emperor's tomb? Of course, Longao knew this. Because of this, Longao stopped cultivating. He followed Long Fu's guidance and walked towards the deepest part of the Nine Continents Mystery Land. After about an hour, Longao arrived at a small valley. It was a valley within a valley. As soon as he stepped into the valley, Longao's expression turned grave. There was no need for Long Fu to say anything. He already knew that this valley was the location of the Great Earth Tomb. Long Fu, how do I enter the Great Earth Tomb? Master, you must be careful. I've already sensed it. There's a place in the Great Earth Tomb that you must pass through. It's very dangerous. If you're not careful, you'll fall into eternal damnation. For safety's sake, it's best if you let Long Ming lead the way. Long Ming? He didn't know what Long Fu meant. However, since Long Fu had already said so, Longao naturally wouldn't doubt it. He summoned Long Ming from the Dragon Seal space. According to Long Fu's instructions, Longao came to the deepest part of the valley. There was a strange pattern carved on the huge stone wall. There was a line of small words written on the pattern. Tomb of the Burning Heaven Great Emperor. Those who are fated to enter. Longao immediately felt joy in his heart. As expected, the tomb of a titled great emperor was here. Without any hesitation, he immediately opened the stone door according to Long Fu's instructions and rushed in. It was pitch black, and he couldn't even see his own fingers. Burning Heaven Great Emperor? Longao finally knew that the great emperor of the Nine Continents Mystery Land was titled Burning Heaven. Not to mention the strength of this titled great emperor, just his title alone was domineering enough. Longao didn't dare to be careless when he entered the passage. He took every step carefully and was on full alert. This was because Long Fu had already said that the tomb of a great emperor was filled with danger. Chapter 368. The black passageway was deep and quiet, emitting a strange aura. Soon, Longao arrived at a black and white bridge that was more than 10 meters long. Master, be careful of this Yama bridge. Yama bridge? Longao did not hesitate at all. Since things had already come to this point, he took a step forward and stepped onto the Yama bridge. When Longao stepped onto the Yama bridge, he found that the scene around him had changed. He was shocked. Was it an illusion? Not daring to be careless, Longao followed Long Fu's instructions and released a powerful aura of heaven and earth to suppress the illusion around him. Sure enough, the aura of heaven and earth was the nemesis of illusions. It disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Longao let out a sigh of relief. He knew that if it weren't for Long Fu and the help of the aura of heaven and earth, he would have died just now. It was hard to imagine that if an ordinary martial artist entered here, they wouldn't even be able to cross the Yama bridge. Pulling himself together, Longao continued to walk forward. It was just a bridge, but it was as if he was fighting with an expert. It took him more than 10 minutes to barely cross the Yama bridge. At this time, Longao stepped into a huge cave. The sky was filled with dazzling stars. Longao was shocked. He didn't know how the Burning Heaven Great Emperor did it. He was about to enter to see what was going on when many figures suddenly shot out from all directions. Longao was shocked. Before he could react, he was attacked by the skeletons. Skeletons resurrected? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Moreover, Longao was already used to this situation. It had to be known that the soul slaves and corpse slaves refined by Long Fu were the same as skeletons. Not daring to be careless, Longao smashed out with his fists. With the protection of the desolate tyrant body, Longao ignored the attacks of the skeletons around him. He had to admit that the desolate tyrant body was indeed powerful. As long as he didn't encounter a world king or world emperor, he was confident that he could even resist a few moves from a great sovereign. This was the barren overlord body. Longao chose to use the sacred desolation body to resist the attacks of the skeletons around him. At the same time, he used the divine dragon arm and the hell tiger arm to smash the skeletons. The skeletons were not immortal like the corpse demons and soul slaves. Longao used the strength of his two arms to smash the skeletons one after another. However, what terrified Longao the most was that the skeletons around him were like an army. They kept coming out. As for where the skeletons came from, he had no idea. Longao knew in his heart that even if he ignored the skeletons around him, the divine dragon arm and hell tiger arm could crush these skeletons. However, this was not a long-term solution. Who knew how many skeletons there were? Even if he exhausted himself to death, he was afraid that he would not be able to crush all the skeletons here. Was he really going to die of exhaustion? Of course, Longao was unwilling to give up. He no longer used the divine dragon arm and the hell tiger arm because no matter how powerful his arms were, it was impossible to crush all the skeletons. If this continued, there was only one result, and that was that he would be exhausted to death. Longao took the opportunity to use the blood-sucking saber. It contained the power of heaven and earth and the power of thunder tribulation. Longao thought that the power of thunder tribulation and the power of heaven and earth were credible to the skeletons. However, he never expected that the power of heaven and earth and the power of thunder tribulation would not have much effect on the skeletons. It was just that the blood-sucking saber had a wider attack range than his arms. Longao knew very well that whether it was his arms or the blood-sucking saber, they were just a drop in the bucket for such terrifying skeletons. He had to think of a good way. Otherwise, the longer it dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. What should he do? The entire cave was dark, and there were skeletons everywhere. One after another, they came in a continuous stream, emitting dark eyes, as if they were walking corpses. Gradually, Longao also discovered one thing, and that was that the surrounding corpses were emitting traces of a strange aura. If one was not careful, this aura would invade one's body and begin to corrode one's soul. Shocked, Longao found that if he did not sense it carefully, he would not be able to sense this aura at all. This aura was almost exactly the same as the soul-suppressing seal, but it was not as overbearing as the soul-suppressing seal. Not daring to be careless, Longao resisted the skeletons around him with all his strength. Fortunately, although there were a lot of skeletons, they were not very powerful. With Longao's current strength, it was almost like a game for him to persist for a few hours, or even a day or two. If there were only so many skeletons, Longao would not be worried at all. But the problem now was that the skeletons kept coming out, and he did not know how many there were. He could only see a black mass of skeletons, mountains, and seas of skeletons. At a glance, he felt his scalp tingle. This was Longao's character, who would never admit defeat. If it was an ordinary person who encountered this, they would have chosen to give up long ago. At this time, a dragon's roar resounded, echoing throughout the cave. Longao naturally knew that Longchong was about to make a move, but with so many valleys, even if Longchong made a move, would it be of any use? Without waiting for Longao to say anything, Longchong's huge body had already appeared in midair. At this time, blood-red clouds suddenly appeared on Longchong's body. Endless blood sea diagram? Longao finally knew what Longchong was going to do. Back then, he and Aoshue had inadvertently obtained the endless blood sea diagram of the Ghost King's sect. Aoshue could not get it, but Longchong had forcibly absorbed it. For so long, Longao had not seen Longchong use the endless blood sea diagram. He had even forgotten about it. Now that he saw Longchong preparing to use the endless blood sea diagram, he wondered how powerful it would be. A terrifying bloody force directly shrouded the entire valley. Being shrouded by this bloody force, all the skeletons began to roar crazily, as if they were in great pain. Their faces were filled with fear, but the skeletons were like moths to a flame, and they did not care at all. Xiao Chong, Don't hold back. Another dragon's roar resounded. Then, an even more terrifying bloody force erupted from Longchang's body. The sea of blood devoured the skeletons. No matter how many skeletons there were, the power of the sea of blood was there. One would be destroyed, and two would be destroyed. Longchang had not successfully integrated the endless blood sea diagram since he devoured it. Not long ago, with the help of the powerful spiritual chi of heaven and earth, Longchang had finally integrated the endless blood sea diagram. It was very timely. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult for Longao to destroy all the skeletons here by himself. However, he did not know where these skeletons came from. They kept emerging, one after another, as if they would never stop. Longao felt a headache coming on. If this continued, even Longchang would not be able to resist, let alone himself. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.